We're in Select Board January 20th, 2026. Any public comment? Familiar with us? Yeah. Hi Jim, hi Camilla, hi Susan. Agenda changes. I think we just want to add, running through the Select Board report. Did you guys get a chance to read it?
Yeah.
And talk about the dedication and artwork on the cover, if there is any. If we get to it under the, I guess we can do it under other business. Okay, let's jump right in. Municipal budget. Brent, you're here. You want to start?
I can if you want me to.
Fine with me.
Do they have the proposal?
You do.
We do.
I suspect.
Page 1.
Yours might be different.
Mine might be different?
No, it is.
Oh.
I just brought what I sent you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm just getting this put up on the screen for people.
Election costs were $15.01. $1 over budget. Do you foresee needing any more than that given the midterm? We did a special election last year with that amount.
I don't foresee anything, no.
Okay. What made, so 2024, because it was a presidential election, it was more? Why
And
is
we
that?
had, what, 3 Harwood budget revotes?
Oh,
Oh.
I forgot about that.
Right. Okay.
Let's see how many
That's
we have this
probably
year.
what drove it up.
Yes, because of, election workers that have to.
Come again.
I have to have poll workers there for that, so we pay the
Yeah.
poll workers, so I know.
I don't think we can have this conversation without acknowledging Margot Wade's passing.
Thank you. Get emotional.
Sorry.
So,
We love you, Margot.
yes.
Yeah.
She will be missed in many
Yeah.
facets.
Okay, so you feel good with that?
Yeah, no, I think that's fine, thank you.
We're down 2.57%. Nice job.
Sounds good.
Brent, do you think
There's not
your fees will go up at all?
Fees for,
The fees that you collect for
um,
all the various things?
I mean, who knows what the year's
Right.
gonna bring, I don't, right now, fees as far as recording seems to declined a bit, but,
Yeah. Well, we're making it a little easier for
yeah.
people to do stuff online and,
And they do,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. They don't come into the office as much,
Yeah.
they can obtain it through a number, which is great for them. So, no.
Brent added a laptop. It doesn't matter about his fees, but he added a laptop in the clerk's office so that when people come in, they don't have a computer or whatever, they
Oh.
can use that.
Well, reused, yeah,
Reused laptop, but yeah.
reused, yeah, yes.
For,
Public
just
use.
Public use.
Public use,
and-
yes.
Yep,
That's
exactly.
a great
And
idea.
had it set up with North Branch Tech so that it can only be accessed for that purpose. There's no internet access, there's no email access, it's all isolated from the rest
Cool.
of the system. So, but yes, researchers can come in, and some people do, and want to look and search things and, aren't familiar that it's already online. They could have done it at home, but they didn't, they're here now. So, yeah, they have that laptop access to the land records, so.
Oh, cool.
And it's hitched to
That's
the printer
awesome.
too, but
So they can print pages that do cost money, so it's sort
yeah,
of
if they want to buy the
related fees,
pages,
but
yeah, they can.
Yep.
submit that.
So it's just connected to the land records. It's not set up for like someone wants to get a dog license. They don't need to
No.
use a laptop. They still
No.
do that with you or
Yes.
at home.
Yep.
Okay, that's nice. Nice job. That's great. Yeah, thanks for highlighting
So
that.
it was a
Rebecca.
good suggestion on North Branch Tech's part to reuse that laptop for that purpose, because it wasn't being used really it was the Rita's old laptop,
Yeah.
so it worked well. Put that in there. So.
Great. Okay, well, any questions, any comments, any concerns?
I don't think it doesn't fall under my budget necessarily. I don't even know which one it does fall under, but under office security or building security,
Yeah,
there are cameras, security cameras there that I don't think they're working. I
They're
mean,
not up to par.
no, they are, I think, outdated. I don't know how old the cameras are themselves. So we had looked, Rebecca and Jeff and I had talked to, I don't know if you,
I haven't. I was gonna bring it up in capital.
okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
But no.
I didn't mean to-
No, this is great. I want you to tell them why
Yeah,
you
please.
feel, because
Because-
they benefit you probably the most, just within the vault and things like that.
Sure, so there was a camera that was on the vault, but when we talked to these companies, there would be one aimed at the vault, so I would be able to see what's happening inside the vault, and it'd be recorded, so that would be good as well. But they were talking about another camera that would be pointed at the entrance to my office, so that gets recorded as well, just for, security purposes. The world we live in, maybe nothing ever happens, and I hope not, but if it does, it'd just be nice to have that. I mean, there's a camera outside the building, more towards the parking lot, but it'd be nice to have one, if it perhaps had movement to the camera, where it could also be on the ballot box too, just because there have been incidents of people damaging or fire or whatever they're doing to the ballot boxes,
Yep.
assume.
So move to the ballot box when it's in this building or?
No, it's
when
an
it's something that you
it's an
can
external
move.
camera
Okay.
that's mounted outside the building.
Yeah.
It's the Dropbox that's out
Oh,
there.
the
The
drop
Dropbox,
box.
I'm sorry,
Okay,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
No, the
That's
drop
fine.
box that's on the entryway outside.
Yeah, I hear you there.
And select board, being in charge of the building, it'd be nice would think to have, and I'm sure Rebecca's gonna cover this, the access to the building, rather than keys, having electronic access, like the school system has with cards, so you know who's coming and going as they come in.
So yeah, we met with Green Mountain Security
Oh gosh, you're gonna test me on the names.
and the Royal Group.
That sounds correct.
And then we also met with a company that's based maybe California,
Yeah, somewhere.
and the closest client they have to us is Connecticut, so we sort of have written them off, if you will. But I would say that the Royal Group and Green Mountain Security is over in Williamstown.
Yes.
Royal Group is based, I think, up in the Burlington
Well,
area.
they too, I think they have an office in Rutland,
Okay.
I think as well.
And both came in at, pretty close. The biggest cost is going to be the setup, just because of the old building and the walls and all that. But I was going to talk to you guys about that at during capital budget,
Okay,
to see if it's something that we want to explore.
okay.
And both of them said that we could break it up into two parts. Bring what we currently have up to snuff, because it's basically not really working and we can't really get the vendor that we use to, Jeff tries to reach out, Brent reaches out, and they're not responsive. And I think maybe some of Andrew's highway department cameras are attached to that contract as well. But we thought that if we could get at least the cameras that we have now working correctly, like Brent sometimes will go on and it hasn't recorded for, however many days.
Well, that was with the old desktop. On the laptop, I don't have access to.
Oh, you don't have access to it at all?
At all.
Okay, alright. So, there's a number of things, and oftentimes, people will leave abandoned vehicles in the parking lot and we can't really see when it was abandoned and all that, all that stuff, so.
Okay.
And they came in, I would say, pretty reasonable priced.
Yeah, I
They
think so.
weren't,
I mean, and-
exorbitant.
No,
So-
and very knowledgeable too,
Yeah.
the one, what was it, Green Mountain?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Green Mountain Security
So-
was really, really great.
Well, if it's something that we think we want to spend money on, we'll just need to put out an RFP and get some pricing back.
Well, that's,
I just-
we sort of already did that, but, yeah. But yeah,
Camilla?
come on.
Is it a capital expense if it's a contract?
I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that.
I would think
Do some
that,
research.
buying equipment would be capital, but if it's if there's contractual expenditures, I think that would go into the regular
Yeah, we'll have to check,
budget.
I'll have to check with VLCT on that one.
Okay, so what was the cost?
I don't remember off the top of my head. 20-ish thousand?
Yeah, just over that, I think.
Mhm. 23 or 25, somewhere around there.
For cameras, locks, and
The installation and, yeah.
Okay, well, it sounds like we need to know if it'll be capital or not, and if
Yeah.
not, it would have to come into either building maintenance or the administrative select board budget.
Right.
But other than that, no, I'm all set, so thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Simple.
Look forward to seeing you at town meeting.
Hopefully before then.
Okay.
Thank you, Brent.
Have a good evening.
Thanks, Brent.
All right. Administrative budget. This is us. Select board.
Do we want to do Pierre since he's here? Rec committee?
Yeah. Do we have
Just-
anyone else that wants to be participating with the rec committee that's expecting to be later?
No, I'm here to represent today. Everybody else have things going on?
Okay, great. Yeah, come on up, please.
Alright.
Join us.
Yeah, so we met with the Warren PTO as we are, as to be their liaisons and coordinate their efforts up there this year. This year I know was a very slow year for us as the rec committee. We really didn't get much done. We weren't anticipating all those bollard, funding to be in place, which was awesome. Thank you all very much. Yeah, and I've been traveling a lot for work, so it's been really hard for me to wrap my head around things to do here. So we're kind of looking at this year for us as the committee is just, revisiting that long-term plan that we brought, had some ideas when we first came to the select board with, and creating some solid plans, that you can look at. We have dollars and fees associated to something with sections, so we really have a grasp of what we're going to be asking for in the future and what we were trying to fundraise for. Some of those things we've talked about, shade structures, addressing pathways. But concerning this year's ask, in meeting with the PTO and just seeing, their long-term playground goals to help see those being met. And funding, I know we met Rachel, she was at the meeting, Sam Crotinger was also at the meeting. We're hoping that we can ask again for $10,000, but this would be a direct funneling into playground projects. We'd be supporting the PTO's efforts to revive the playground. We know that there's going to be some inspections coming this year, and will most likely deem some of those structures unusable, potentially unrepairable. So we're hoping to be able to support their efforts to keep the playground alive and continue building and pursue that vision. So it would be helping with the shade structure, which they may or may not get grants for, which will be in the playground area, or whether it be supporting the building of infrastructure at the playground. We want to be open to both of those options.
So does that mean you're walking away from the shade structure between the skate park and the tennis courts?
We're kind of want to have a better plan and a cost associated with that, something we can actually present, because we don't have anything on paper right now. It's been kind of a whirlwind year for all of us for all our personal reasons that we haven't been able to put the time we would have hoped to this year.
Yeah.
So we want to support the PTO financially, if possible, if you guys see that as fit. It is town property is a big thing, it's like, so we're working, we're just trying to see what we can do here, and we need to just go back at, what are we doing at the Warren Rec field, what Brooks Field, what can we do, and, revisit some of that is where we're at.
Can you, I'm not sighing because it's a bad idea. it's just a pretty big shift from what
Mhm.
we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm curious how that works with respect to like spaces, locations, and boundaries. I mean, I think we had a conversation at one point when we were working on an MOU, like who is in charge. And at one point, we thought it would be great for the rec committee to sort of be in charge of the playground and the whole space, and there wasn't really an appetite for that. So is this a coordinated that, like, can you just tell us what came out of your meeting a little bit
So
more? Because this
we're-
is the first we're hearing about it.
Yeah, and again, we had this meeting today. It took a
Oh,
while just to
Yeah.
schedule our time
Yeah.
as the various groups to get together. So, without any concrete plans in place on our end for, future visions at the Brooks Field, we want to just get a plan together. We want to have some public involvement. We want to show people what we're thinking of and, work around that vision with the public. So we're hoping to do a public event up there this year, just be like, hey, here's some concepts and ideas. What do people think? We want public input. We don't want to just be like, hey, this is what we think should happen. Like we're doing this for the people. So we feel like they should be part of that process to a point. And then, meeting with the PTO, it was very clear that like they want to get some stuff done up there. The playground needs major rehab, especially like, the little one on the kind of, I'm gonna call it the back side, the downhill side of the building
The
is
little
really
kid
failing.
playground.
We keep talking shade structures here and there. They're talking about something maybe smaller. Bob's idea of the shade structure between the tennis court and the skate park. We've been kind of rethinking about hopefully getting a larger public, ADA accessible pavilion. There is still one spot of that field that you could potentially build on. It's closer to the road, be closer to the playground. It could potentially double as an outdoor classroom space for the school. So we're trying to just look at the benefit to the community at large and like, well, we don't have any plans in place this year. What can we do to benefit the community? And that playground, it benefits the community, So whether we have that funding go towards a potential shade structure that they're still trying to get funding for, or to help with that, if they can get this $8,000 grant from some dermatology.
Dermatology.
Yeah, we could potentially help with that, and that would be good for the, public at large. We've survived a long time without any shade structures down there, but, we're looking at more like, okay, we want a bigger meeting place. Think about what they have in Hubbard Park and some of the parks in Burlington, like, a grill, ADA accessible stuff. So that was, our shade structure concept. But again, to fundraise for that, I don't want to push forward without a concrete plan in place. I want, engineer approved designs. I want the town to sign off and be like, hey, yeah, we're open to using this space. I want public interest involved in saying, yes, we all think this is a good idea, not just the few of us on the rec committee. So that was our thought is the best, as a rec committee, we need to get our plans kind of dialed in and then figure out, hey, how are we going to try to fund these moving forward?
So then the $10,000 budget that you're requesting this year would be to support
We support efforts at the playground. And
based on the current plan that they have?
based on their
or-
current plan, and, if hopefully some of that could go towards, helping fund some of these potential structures that there is no budget for. They might need to get torn down, they might need to get replaced. So like, how does all
I see,
this,
or repaired.
yeah, we just want to support them right now.
Was Sarah at the meeting? Hurley, the president of the PTO?
I'm not sure, let me look at the email real quick.
Can you give me a background on this? Because I don't, not knowing very much about it. Like
No. Oh, Sarah Hurley, yes.
Yeah,
Yep,
so the town owns the field
yeah.
and the playground. And
Yeah.
the school
owns the building.
owns the
The
building.
Eve line.
And then the school, how does the school pay for the playground that they use every day?
They don't.
They don't.
They have an in the works MOU with the town that will give them like first rights to the playground during school operating hours.
But they don't contribute any, like the taxpayer
The-
dollars that we pay,
The MOU that we are working
doesn't
on,
go back to the playground at all, ever?
the MOU that we're working on does, for the very first time, have a shared playground maintenance budget. That would be 50-50, and I think we thought like 5,000, I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't know either.
We need to make sure that gets in here, actually. So that we pay half and they pay half for annual maintenance, because that's why we're in this situation. No one's maintaining the buildings. historically, and I walked into this too, so if I get something wrong, like, we gotta call in older people than me. But historically, the PTO has been the body that has built, maintained, and funded the playground structures. And various groups in between. Like, there was a group
Yeah,
that did
I'm not
the-
sure it was all PTO, it was just parents sometimes and
Yeah, and then
some
there was
teachers, but not the PTO necessarily.
there was another group that Andreas told us about that organized the workout equipment, and then that disbanded. And so what ends up happening is, like, these wonderful ideas come up from volunteers, and then there's no maintenance, there's no continued organization that controls or manages or maintains. Which is sort of, I think, where we started with the rec committee, like, hey guys, we need you to be our eyes and ears and
Liaison
with all the
and
people
playground.
up there, and, like, please make this make sense.
Yeah.
So in a way, this feels like bringing it back around to what I think we really wanted to happen.
Right, so you guys are gonna have oversight of the whole thing, and then the
And
PTO will actually
and we'll be reporting to you about.
reporting to them, right? So the PTO.
Is that how you guys?
That's how I've kind of understood it. Is
That
that
seems like
and
make
we
the
just want to
most sense.
collaborate and support them right now. Is like, okay, we've got some grand ideas and visions, but we have no concrete framework. We have no
Yeah.
concrete plan to move forward. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, how much money do we need? Well, I don't know. We need better plans in place as the rec committee to move forward with some of our ideas before we present them to you and being like, hey, I don't know, I think we can spend this money this year.
Right.
Whereas we know we have a budget, we have a need,
Mm-hmm.
and we know we can support that need if you guys grant this funding.
Do you guys have oversight of other places in the valley, or in Warren, or is it just Brooksfield?
Brooksfield.
Just
Yeah.
And they maintain and manage the skate park and
Right.
the
Through our
softball
individual
fields,
organizations, yeah.
and I mean, I guess the tennis courts now, which used to be done by the town administrator. Hopefully, you guys are staying on top of that one
Yeah,
too.
we should discuss the resurfacing plan that the town had in place.
Yeah,
I'll come in sometime to discuss that with you all and make sure we stay on schedule.
yeah.
I
So-
just wanna make sure, oh, sorry, go ahead, Camilla.
Well, yeah, I kind of want to chime in here on a couple things, and the tennis court was a good point. I'm a little concerned about the town giving, allocating money to the rec committee for the rec committee to give to an organization that we don't
Have any oversight of?
yeah, control, so to speak. I think I'm concerned about conflict that might occur there or misunderstandings. So I have some hesitation on that one. I would be more comfortable if we knew the rec committee was the one who was going to be allocating the money, spending the money, deciding what they were going to do with it, rather than just saying, well, we don't know what we're going to do with our money, so we're going to give it to somebody else to do something with. And so part two of that, Pierre, it sounds like you just said you wanted to talk about resurfacing the tennis courts. Wouldn't that be from this budget?
Not necessarily. I've spoken with companies who do asphalt or sports coatings in the past, and they generally have a maintenance plan. So it'd be looking at your records, contacting the company that previously did that coating, and seeing when that scheduled maintenance is to occur. That's pretty commonplace with asphalt, playing surfaces. They're going to crack over the years, so they repair the cracks. They will resurface to continue to create a level or flat, area. So that would be just upkeep. That's maintenance. I do not know those records.
Yeah.
That's just my awareness from having spoken to some of these companies in the past.
And I have in my
If I could-
notes that we do, the tennis courts under park maintenance. That's where that money comes from, is that line, budget line. Not from the rec committee.
Yeah, and again, this is all the stuff that we have to figure out.
Right.
Like, if the rec committee's gonna take it over, then we probably wanna move that out of park maintenance and put it into the rec committee budget, because they're gonna be managing it, right?
Or put the rec committee budget under park maintenance. Which is what it sounds like we're talking about. So, can we touch on the first point there, Camilla? And I wonder, I totally hear you, and I guess I sort of interpreted what Pierre was saying a little differently. That the rec committee budget, they would use to work in coordination with what the PTO wanted to do, but not that their funds would just be for the PTO to use. And I think that might be a little bit of splitting hairs to your point, Camilla. But I was also thinking, as you were talking about trying to get solid plans together and like an engineer design, like that all costs money. So I'm imagining some of this budget is still going toward making plans
I would
for
hope
the
so,
things
yeah.
that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this year you had talked about the granite chunks in place of
Granite
bollards,
or
like
any
something.
stone, yeah. Something that's a lifelong, you know, we never have to address it again to protect that field, yeah.
Right.
You know, and I'd been in contact with the Baird Quarry down in Hancock, I believe
Yeah.
it is, or Rochester, whichever.
I think
And
it's Hancock.
we'd been sourcing some, you know, talking to them about schist, you know, so it's softer, we don't necessarily need granite blocks down there. You know, we just need a way to keep vehicles from getting on that field. And something that we don't have to keep replacing every 10 years. So that was, you know, again, a thought, and we have some pricing from them regarding that, but then we need to just figure out trucking, we need to figure out placement, we need to figure out a construction schedule and time frame. So like, how do we get that to fit in? How much can we budget for that? And that's something we have not had time to get to yet. I mean, I can spitball ideas all day on how to spend money, but actually creating the plans and, you know, implementing them, I think is the really important part at this stage with where we're at in the committee. And again, this is just be supporting, you know, this would be the rec committee supporting the efforts at Brooksfield for childhood recreation, we could phrase it as. There is a plan in place, there are budgets in place, we have dollar figures to those structures. We are, you know, kind of working with we talked today with the PTO about kind of, hey, what's your plan for this actual shade structure on the playground? You know, you want to make it ADA accessible, but like, what's the plan? How much is it actually going to cost? So they're trying to figure that out, you know.
So, I think we're.
But I understand where you're at with Camilla, is that we don't have anything very clear as, you know, rec committee right now as to what we're saying,
Well,
what we're
yeah.
asking for.
I think it's hard for me to hear, you know, just kind of threw out $10,000, but it's not based on anything. Like, you know what I mean? You're sort of just asking for $10,000, but we don't know
The
where that
specific.
number came from.
Yep.
I think
So if the PTO has a project or a couple projects, and they're saying, this is what it's gonna cost, and could the rec committee, you know, put money towards that, that would feel a little more comfortable for me than just, yeah, you know, how about 10 grand and we'll spend it.
I think if we're also thinking about like line items, I think just thinking about like how many, like if you want community input, do you want to put like an event together to get community input, just costing that out, like maybe the rec committee sponsors one of the Warren wind downs or something to that effect.
I was hoping it would just be like an open air event up at the Brooks Fields.
Yeah,
you
to
know?
get
Just
to
get
get
people
people
out.
in.
But isn't there already a plan in place? I mean,
there's a playground. So
Yes.
I think
this is
what's
confusing to
what's
me.
grating on me here, Pierre, and it's not the rec committee. It's
Yeah.
that the select board spent $200,000 supporting the PTO and the playground, and we had a very clear ask, which was use these funds, leverage them to get more funds. It was the largest expenditure out of ARPA.
Okay.
It was a really big deal, and we put $20,000 of that aside for a project manager to make sure that this happens. And now you're sitting here telling us that you're going to manage that, right? Because it's not happening, and that's frustrating.
Understandable.
Not for
No,
you
no.
necessarily, but
Thank you
for
for
us.
helping fill in
Yes.
the blanks as well.
Yeah.
I also wonder, this is another Brooksfield event, but we had a big discussion about the 4th of July the other day.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Um,
I was gonna mention
and
it too.
the potential note that the volunteerism and community support for the events at Brooksfield has gone down over the years, and there's more and more people, and so we're kind of at this tipping point where we need to think about, like, well, do we continue to try to get support for Brooksfield events post parade, which is the tradition and what people want to see, or does that then shift the post parade activities up to Sugar Bush? And I think we heard from a lot of people during our last select board meeting that people don't want to see Brooksfield events die. And could we get more volunteers? Could we get more support? Could we have like good events going on after the parade this year? And while it's not technically in the rec committee like role, it is the Brooksfield happening, and I feel like it's one that we as a town want to support more this year. So just trying to think about other things that are happening this year in terms of calendar of events that have impacted the rec committee.
Yeah, Kaylee, that's a good point. In fact, I believe when we get to it right here, we're talking about adding $10,000 to our July 4th budget for activities up at Brooksfield that are, because we talked about wanting it to be more family and kid oriented. And I was going to ask Pierre also how the rec committee felt they might be involved, or if they, thought that that was appropriate.
I think it all would be very appropriate. We should probably take some efforts to run the events up there. I mean, again, with the community involvement idea too, it'd be like, hey, here we are running the events. This is what we're running the events for. You know, it could be a really good thing.
Like at the Warren Wind Down, the planning commission had a tent set up, and they were talking about the town garage, like to get input, right? So like you're talking about with this open air event, trying to get public input, maybe the 4th of July is an interesting opportunity to do some of that. I think what I'm hearing some of our board members say is like, would you be willing and able to help revive the post-parade Brooksfield?
Just throwing that at
Dunk
you right
tank.
now.
I'm certainly open to the idea. I'd like to touch base with the other members,
Yeah.
but I mean, I've got a good volunteer pool I can pull from, and I'd like to see volunteers from all the other organizations that use this space contribute as well.
Yeah.
I did the events one year, many years ago, and it's an effort, but it's worth it. It's fun. I mean, I'm one of many people who grew up going to that field after the parade and enjoying all the festivities up there. It's a beautiful space.
We could get ponies back, dunk tanks.
Cow plot bingo was always
Did
a
we
favorite
do
of
that?
mine.
I
That
don't
had
remember.
happened when we were kids. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That they just like wander around trying.
Yeah, they had a few cows in a fenced-in area, and they had the big old bingo board.
Let's do baby cows.
I love this.
Everybody loves babies. Okay, where should we go with this? What do you
My fear with,
postponing?
no, not postponing.
No, but-
My fear with you all supporting the PTO like you want to is that all of your projects and your long-term plan, things get put on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you guys have done a great job over the last couple of years.
Thank you.
Really cleaning that space up there, making it more welcoming for anybody that goes up there. And I would hate to see that $10,000 not be spent on,
Yeah.
the long-term plans that you all have.
I
I
think
know
a
that last
shade
year-
structure is a great plan
Yes.
to support.
Yes.
But again, we still don't
And you're not
have...
required to spend $10,000,
Right.
just to be clear.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That number doesn't have to exist.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were just hoping to support that, as we see that is a need that is up in that field. It's in the sun all day. It just gets beaten on, especially in the middle of the summer. So we're kind of thinking, it was like, all right, this is a rec space for the kids, for the grandparents who bring their kids down,
Yeah.
for the parents to have some reprieve and still have line of sight to their kids playing. So in considering what you guys have just told me too, you know, again, like, we're asking for this big number again. Alicia was just like, oh, let's just ask for level funding and hopefully we can contribute to these efforts. But hearing from you guys, you wanna see, the PTO's kind of been doing their own thing. And they should be responsible for making all that happen. It's already being funded by the town. You know, we're talking about,
I don't think, well,
The
we give
4th
them
of-
the Forest Service money.
but we're talking about, you know, 4th of July events potentially, all on a volunteer basis. We need some funding to, you know, rent the equipment, run the events. We gotta plan what we're gonna be doing up there, so we gotta figure out what our ask would be for that. You know, we're talking our long-term things, potentially engineers' plans and drawings to be done. There are still some trees that I'd like to see removed around the shed that Simon Operative Services runs out of. We had quotes from $2,500 to $6,000 for that tree removal. You know, so there are some things I think we could do with a $10,000 budget. Not that we would necessarily spend it all this year, that would overall benefit the space.
Yeah.
And, you know, continue to work towards the future planning and, you know, the more grand plan, which I look forward to presenting to you all soon, probably after town meeting, and you guys have slugged through all of that. But
Yeah.
I guess from hearing when we had the rec committee here before, when Alicia was here,
Yeah.
I left feeling just frustrated that I understand they had a bad year and they didn't have their act together, but the idea that we're punishing them by taking the 10 grand that they got last year and it goes back into the funds, basically, like they don't get to use it.
Right.
But they had a clear plan of putting down a
Concrete
pad, and then they were going. If they had everything in the works, they
Oh,
could
it'd
have
be
gotten
done.
that
Yeah.
sort of paid out in December, and
Right.
then we'd be giving them 10 grand this year
Right.
to make the shade structure.
Right.
So I don't understand why we just don't give them the 20 grand and have the project done.
You know what? I would support that, Joel, if they had come in and said, hey, we got our act together, this is what we want to do, we got it all laid out. I might be like, okay, awesome, well, there's the plan and there's the money. But the fact that, and again, this is volunteer, I totally get it.
I get
But
it.
the fact that we could go another year where, you know, it didn't really come together. I would love to see you guys keep that money for the rec committee and do some of these things that you know you want to do, that you had hoped to do this last year.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think both Camilla and Rebecca and Joel now have all made that same point. Like, the plans that you guys came to us with 2 years ago are great. Like, you're working toward drinking water and bathrooms and, like, really important stuff for that space that's separate from the school's use of that playground. And not necessarily more important, but really important. I just see them as a little bit different. And I don't love the idea of giving you money to give to the playground initiative only because the playground initiative is being funded in another way.
And also because we don't have an MOU with them yet. That would be my other piece. Funding something that we haven't figured out how we're paying to maintain with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I'm all for level funding.
yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, me too.
And I think what we're asking is, like, can you spend some of that on the 4th of July?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it will raise money as well, so I don't see why we wouldn't.
I think we should get the
Yeah.
goats at the 4th of July.
Oh,
Because we have goats.
We have goats.
We have town goats. We should bring them to the
we have
4th
town
of July.
goats. That's true. They should.
You know, I
Oh, you
think-
do some clearing with them.
You could do some.
You
clearing
could
with
do
them,
some
right?
Well, I'm
You should talk to
asking the
Hito.
town does.
Yeah.
Okay.
We fund Hito and the Goat Knotweed Initiative,
Oh, cool.
right? And
Awesome.
they have been eating knotweed along the riverbanks.
Yeah, no, something that's awesome.
Waitsfield does as well.
Mhm.
But chatting with Hito and whomever is going to be doing that, he's worked with 2 different people, and bringing the goats to the 4th of July is an excellent idea. And they're lovely.
Town
They're really
pride in our
very nice.
goats.
Heck
I feel
yeah.
like we should have that.
So I think what we're asking
Goat
the rec
march.
committee is to work with the Rotary and Ben to help support the 4th of
Yeah.
July
Yes.
effort.
Yeah, that
Okay.
will need to be coordinated with Ben. Will you please
Who at?
discuss Ben Olds at the
Olds.
Rotary, and
I
Rebecca,
will
will you connect
do
them,
an
please?
introduction
Great.
to all of you to Ben.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And chat with your committee and and make sure that that fits for you all.
I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, it's all pretty cut and dry. I totally understand the town's stance on the funding and allocation thereof. Thank you for the clarification.
I do still support the coordination. I mean, I'm speaking for
that,
myself.
that was part of
Yes.
our MRU as well until
Yeah.
theirs gets ironed out, was just
Yeah.
to help coordinate.
Yeah.
And that was just like,
And
I
if
was
that
kind of blindsided by
means
some of that today.
that they jump on your straight shade structure,
Mm-hmm.
great. If it means that your straight shade structure plan shifts, I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah.
I do really like the location that you guys chose, though.
Yeah.
And we know it's well away from wastewater.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
the other thing from a town perspective that we've sort of talked about, and even in the MOU with Harwood, is like the playground and, you know, bound by that berm is really reserved for the children during school hours.
That was
And-
in discussion today about terms of use and
Yeah, and one
time.
of the things that I appreciate about that space is there are still opportunities for play outside of that space during school hours for other people, be it the tennis courts or the skate park or said
Or the
potential
path.
shade structure, the path,
That's- yeah.
you know? So not necessarily wanting to put it all within that purview
Mhm.
because they're welcome to come out, but we aren't necessarily welcome to go in
As
during
the
those
public,
hours,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Just a thought.
That was good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll do
Good
some
luck.
research on the tennis courts.
Awesome. Thank you
Get
very
back
much.
to you.
Cool.
An intro to Ben.
Yep.
All right. Excellent. And I will be reconvening with the committee soon, hopefully, and we'll at least be changing some emails and stuff. And
Yeah, let us know where that shakes out, please.
we will.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
Have a
Kiara.
good rest of it.
Do we want to quickly do fire department since Jeff is on?
Well, did we do the select board budget? Or we already did it?
We haven't done the select board budget.
But yes, if Jeff is on.
Jeff only had a couple of things that you guys wanted him to change.
Yeah, great. Alright.
Hi, Jeff.
How are you?
Good.
Jeff.
So you guys had asked me the last time I met with you guys to basically drop my budget by $4,000. I did so. Obviously, the only items that have overages are compared to 2025 is radio dispatch and utilities. And the radio dispatch, I can't change anything with that. And I'm going to try to work on reducing some of the costs of the utilities. I'm actually going to talk to Sugarbush a little bit. And I may talk to the porta potty people as well.
So radio dispatch, yeah, understood. What was the other one? Sorry?
Utilities.
Utilities.
It's on the page.
Yeah. Okay, the other thing that is over from the,
The
Never-
benefits.
never mind.
Yes, he does.
I misread that number, never mind. So you've come down, I missed the first one, Jeff, so I apologize.
I came down, I level funded the vehicle maintenance, and then I lowered the uniforms and safety equipment by 500, as well as the utilities by 500.
Okay, and what are you proposing for the utilities?
Trying to work with Sugarbush regarding some of the costs that they charge us, as well as the porta potty that's up there up at Sugarbush Station.
Do you think you're gonna have any luck with Sugarbush?
I don't know. It's worth trying. We've got some ideas that we want to talk to them about anyways. So my hope is that maybe we can be successful in asking for a little, and they're certainly getting a lot. So
I'm just concerned because we're like knowingly underfunding that if we do what Jeff has proposed here, based on last year. What happened here, Jeff? Why did we go from 2485 actual in 2024 to 9200 in 2025?
So before in 2024, that was only for porta potty and the water bill from Sugarbush. Then all of the phone, internet, the phone lines required for the fire alarm system and the backup dispatch system, that is what caused the price to go up as much as it did.
Yeah, we reallocated.
And where that was
it.
coming from, I don't know. So in theory, somewhere else, there should be a difference of probably $7,000 or $7,000.
Somewhere else,
In the
like,
budget,
in the
it
budget.
was,
think
it
it
was
was-
under like
yeah.
the total
It wasn't, it
utility
didn't used to
bill.
be broken out.
Yeah,
Right,
It used to be all one lump
part
sum.
of our utility bill.
Correct.
correct.
right. We reallocated.
Yeah, is my understanding.
Did
Yeah.
our utility bill go down? No, because our solar
Sure.
contract is up,
Yep.
Right.
so we just get,
Not looking for a wash on that.
okay. I guess
wouldn't
I'm just,
bother
I
looking.
don't love the idea of underfunding something, but we do, always end up under budget, at least, at the end of the year. Our actual is typically under what we've budgeted for, so hopefully we can absorb it if it doesn't work out with Sugar Bush.
I mean, last year we
Ooh.
were over for utilities.
Yeah, but at the end.
But the bottom line.
Yeah, the bottom line,
Right,
yeah.
At the end.
Jeff, are you comfortable with this budget? I mean, do you feel like you were told to cut and you had to cut things you didn't feel like you are comfortable cutting?
A little bit.
Okay. Talk
I
to us
mean,
about it.
You know, I think, you know, vehicle, repairs and maintenance, that's one of those line items that I honestly truly can't control because, I mean, as you
Yeah.
guys know with Andrew's budget, you know, if a truck breaks, you gotta fix it.
Yeah,
And that's the hard part. And we've done fairly good with, you know, that general amount. I mean, every once in a while, there's something random that happens that kind of, I mean, we had one truck that had $9,000 worth of work done to it. So that was a third of the budget almost. But this year, the hope is that we don't have that issue. Obviously, we have some newer trucks, which in theory should lower some of that maintenance cost because we're not sinking money into an older truck. As for the utilities, I mean, I understand what you guys are saying. I mean, I like I said before, I don't know what the reasoning was to break out the fire department utilities to something different. So,
I
well,
don't remember what that was.
so you were asked to bring, to cut some off of your budget. And the areas that you did you cut it from repairs and maintenance?
so originally it was, last year was 32, I had upped it to 35. And then I said, well, I can see what we can do with keeping it at 32. So that's where I saved the 3,000 from the past budget that I presented to you. And then, like I said, I cut 500 from the uniforms and safety equipment and 500 from the utilities.
So like, if you went a year without new sweatshirts, you'd be okay. That one I feel okay about.
And honestly, the last couple of years we've had them donated, so
Oh, so we still get new sweatshirts. Can we get one this year? Can I get one? Anyway.
when you join, I'll be happy to give you one.
What? The library got them. Anyway.
So you had utilities at 8,500?
Yes, I
Put
did.
it down to 8,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can double check. Let's
I
see.
mean, I don't think that matters. I think
It's fine.
either way, you know,
I'd be more
I think
concerned
it's
about
fine.
the
You feel more
repairs and
comfortable at
maintenance
8,500.
of the vehicles.
Yeah, I
and
guess
equipment.
my thoughts on repairs and maintenance is only that you were within your budget this year. So is there something that you're anticipating costing more?
Yeah, every service and every fluid that goes into the trucks. Unfortunately. Because we contract out all of our services to an outside company to do all our oil changes, do all of our pump services, chassis services. And they have their price and that's it. And the reality is that there are very few companies in the area that even do road service.
Is this budget going to keep you from pursuing maintenance on anything?
I think I should be fine. like I said, I mean, I will do my
Because
best
it
to.
shouldn't. We don't want that.
No, I understand. I truly think that, we can, I mean, some of that cost was also outfitting, like building out our utility truck, which I think most of you haven't seen yet, but it was
Right.
just, little things like, $40 thing here, $50 thing here. So some of that was going into that, rather than trying to take it out of capital all the time, which I think was just gonna be a nightmare for everybody. So I think that we should be okay with the vehicle maintenance. I think if I get something that is, I don't want to say catastrophic, but catastrophic, I'll come to you guys, and maybe that amount comes out of capital, because I think we've done it before in the past.
Well, I was gonna say, if it's catastrophic, you're probably talking about something that's, yeah.
I think when we had it last time, I think it was like $20,000 worth of damage, or whatever needs to be done.
I mean, based on what I'm seeing for actuals versus budgets in some of the other line items, I feel like you could you're gonna be good. There's some, like training, you've only spent 1880 this year, you budgeted 4. There's $2,000
Right.
right there. And even 2024, you only spent 1462, right?
Yep.
Administrator supplies, you spend 1100 and you budget 2000. So I think I'm hopeful that you're all right. The one I'm not thrilled about is underfunding utilities with the hope of Sugarbush being nice to us.
Just go back to your 8,500 on that, I think. I don't-
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd be okay with going back up to 8,500.
yeah. I don't see that going down.
Oh, really?
Thank you, Jeff.
I had a quick question though, in my notes about fuel. We discussed the whole diesel thing. I guess it was because of the actual. Where is it? Fuel. Yeah. And how, I think Dana said something about she wasn't sure it was being allocated properly or something. Did we do anything about that, or do we feel like that
What?
number is accurate?
So I think, and Jeff, you can elaborate a little more, but I think basically what happens is anytime one of the fire trucks needs to be filled, they go over to the highway department, they fill it. I think you keep a log, right, Jeff?
Correct. There's a lot. The highway department has a log of every time they fill up a truck that shows how many gallons and what the ending mileage is from that. So basically, they can track all of their fuel, and then it also tracks our fuel.
And then we basically take the date and break it down by invoice so that we can see what the price per gallon was, and that's where I think they came up with the 1764.
Okay, so we think that's pretty accurate. So it seems like there's some wiggle room there too. I mean, obviously, if we have more calls, then it goes up. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to circle back on that one. Thanks. I don't have any other questions or anything.
Jeff, anything else for us?
Nope, I'm good.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Admin? Select board?
Do it.
Back to the beginning? 25 more minutes to get through the rest of these, team. Ready?
This will be quick.
We're giving ourselves a raise. We're not, actually, for all of you watching that can't see, not getting a raise.
Oh, benefits was for assistant. Right?
The benefits is the office assistant?
Benefits
Yeah.
is for that is for your your FICA, your Medicare, the taxes and stuff. That's out of your
Oh,
7,500.
that's the employer percentage on our $7,500 worth of pay.
And it's gone up 11%?
Well, I based it off of what was taken out in 2025, so I brought it up to 750. It was at 665. I don't know if we really can.
We don't have any say.
I don't think we have much of a say in that.
So what is the office assistant?
That's Carol. That's down.
And there, we weren't paying, so that the benefits and tax withholdings were not her?
Well, so I don't know the answer to that. I'm trying to find that answer.
Okay,
And I think that your number may go down because Carol's now going to be a 1099
right.
contractor. So that number, that 750 may go down. Still trying
Not
to
a big
figure it
deal.
out.
Just curious.
Yeah.
They're not
Town
big
report
numbers.
printing, we think is going down.
Yeah, it's never been, where are we right here?
We're budgeting 1450, but
Budgeted
last year.
$2,000.
Yeah, we always budgeted $2,000 and it's never, since I started, you know. We've signed a 3-year contract with them, and so
Does that mean it's 1,457 each time?
this year it's gonna be the 14, it'll be less, there'll be less pages, so it'll actually probably be less.
Public notices we think is okay at 25, even though we sent 2754.
Well, yeah, a lot of that was,
Town
Town
garage.
the town garage, and then, that's where all of the highway department job postings went. Cause they don't have that kind of line item in their budget, so that's where, and so I don't anticipate,
So was it both of those, town garage and, okay, so if we're not doing town garage, but we are doing job postings, we're probably good. Okay.
and Valley Reporter, their, ad fees did not change, so I
Okay.
think we're pretty good there.
Looks good to me.
Brookfield Stormwater. Oh yeah, we talked about that already. Yeah.
Yep.
Doesn't look great that we have a bottom line going up 9% when we ask everybody to stay flat. Just saying.
Well, 45% of it is dues, subscriptions, and meetings.
Yeah.
45% increase there. From 505 to 550.
$250.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also that's good. That means we're going to more trainings, and I think that's important. Okay, I'm okay with it. Anybody? Grants? Do we have any?
I feel like Brooksfield Stormwater needs to be removed from your budget and go into other expenditures. But, I don't know why it ever ended up in your budget.
Yeah. Is that maybe recreation?
Because of the grant
It might have been because of the grant.
to offset.
Yeah,
Should it be under recreation?
either recreation or other expenditures, because that's sort of where
We put
everything
everything
other
that's random.
lives. Yeah.
What is the Mill Pond panel?
That's the interpretive panel down here by the covered bridge that we had to do because we didn't have documentation of leaving the timber crib dam behind the new retaining walls for FEMA.
Okay.
We got a grant for that.
All right.
Okay, so
So-
yeah, let's move
so in
this
that-
over.
If we moved it, is there an offset for grants on that? Yeah, right? I'm
Well-
guessing that's why, yeah, so that could be moved
Yeah.
for
Okay.
Brooks. The Brooksfield could be moved there.
Okay. Let's do that. I
And
think
do
that makes
we
more sense.
do we budget for grants, or do those just, what happens there?
Well, we put it there because we did get grants. You know, we got the grant for the Mill Pond panel. We didn't use all of it, obviously. It didn't cost as much as we thought.
Oh, that was just that grant,
Correct.
and we don't usually put grants in there.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Sorry. I'm not sure.
Anything else? Thai food?
I mean, I think it should be at
Dues and
theirs.
subscriptions and meetings.
Too many peanuts.
Sorry, right.
That's why it went up.
Okay, are we good? Can we move on?
We never get out in time to eat that food anyway.
No, we'd have it here. People could watch us slurp noodles.
So I think you just, you guys all saw my email that I communicated with Carol, that she's
Yes.
fine with
Yep.
being a contractor.
Yes, and this is
Yep.
what
Thank you,
project
Carol.
that
Yeah.
to be.
Yep.
Thank you, Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do the next one. What's the next not
Sewer
undone one?
wastewater budget.
Well, do we want to go?
Sewer operations and maintenance?
Do we want to quickly talk about, I think Harvey mentioned something about the lister's salary in his notes. With the reappraisal stuff going on,
Right.
and all the grievances that we potentially think we might have.
So we're up to 52 for budget from 36.6 this year. But we had budgeted 71 for 2025, assuming full-time, is that what
I think we were assuming
we know?
All the
3.
appraisals would be done this year.
So Julie had sent me, let me just see if I can find that budget that she sent me.
Hi, Quill. Hello. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, did you get our note about 6 o'clock?
I did know that, yes.
Okay.
I just couldn't get your signature.
Understandably, me neither. So the question is, do we think we're paying our listers more than the 52,760? Is that right? Or NEMRIC?
We're not paying them right.
No.
Okay, so this is internally.
Correct.
Yeah, the question.
I guess I
yeah.
wonder if we have more data, because 2024 was the last time we had our full group of people, right? And we were at 57,480. We're gonna have 3 listers again.
Alright, so here's Julie's spreadsheet. And she's anticipating that she will have 1,040 hours in 2026. Sandra will have 300 hours, and Carolyn will have 300 hours.
That's 2,000 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the wage?
Well, 1,600 hours. And I
4 and 6 is 10.
10,040.
It's
And 300.
not 1,400.
Oh, sorry,
1,400.
10,040.
Yeah, 10,040. 300 and 300, so
So-
1,640. And so there's
3,003. Sorry.
300 and 300 hours.
I'm
One.
so confused.
That's how many total hours. 300 and 300 and
So 1,040 hours.
1,040,
Yeah.
not 10,040.
Sorry,
it's okay. It's
That's-
been a long week.
been a long.
And it's
Probably
only
me.
Tuesday.
You're on it. You're doing this.
Yes.
I don't need
I
to.
am
I'm gonna stop doing math.
salaries. Look at what they are. They are at 3214. Just where did that go? So
Well, it's
I have this again.
52,709.
52,760 is what
Is
Julie
what it works
has
out.
Yeah,
on
And,
her.
and we're wondering if
spreadsheet.
they've underestimated the number of hours.
Correct.
Mhm.
So,
I think Harvey maybe was just looking at it from the perspective of we budgeted 71 this year
Yeah.
and came in at 36, but with the fact that as Kaylee said, the reappraisal, all of that stuff didn't happen this year the way we expected it to. Do we need to add more for next year?
But wouldn't the listers be the ones to know if it's gonna take them more time and therefore they would have said?
Let's hope so.
I think we should toss this
I'm
question
not,
then.
I'm fine with going with what Julie has projected. I think
Let's just toss Harvey's question their way and see what they
just
say.
asking the question.
Yeah,
I mean,
what do you think?
I think even just asking them the question of like, okay, 1,040, it seems to be the high ball, but half of that is like around 500 hours instead of 300. Like, is 500 hours actually what they need?
Mhm.
Are they half of a half-time
Right.
kind of thing? Half of their
Yeah,
half-time.
I know the third lister. You know, she's really only here maybe some evenings, and then on a weekend maybe because she still works full time.
Yeah.
So, and I know that she's anticipating getting elected, but
yeah.
I think she's anticipating that a lot of her hours this year will be for training. And Julie still got
Julie did say that. Yeah.
Julie still got some training. I think Sandra's
Isn't Julie gonna be full-time though? Isn't that what they were
I
asking
think
for?
that she is, I think she and Harvey talked and
Yeah.
she's okay with not doing that this year.
Okay. I would say we leave it where it is and ask Julie to just be double sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Sewer.
We still don't know anything from Granicus, but I'm just
I
going down the
didn't
list.
get a reply back.
But
from
I did
Granicus.
find it, Camilla. I don't know if you got that. I looked at the contract and it's the address identification. That's $12,670 some odd dollars.
Yep.
Each year. And that, I think, is that nut that we were saying, hey, wait, this is what happens the first year. This isn't ongoing. So at least we've identified what that cost is and why we don't understand why it keeps going.
Why we should have it every year.
Right.
Because it should be, yeah, a lot more the first year, that's for sure.
Yeah, so basically what I did was I took the contract and I printed it out and I circled, not to be jerky about it, but I circled everything and this should have been, the first year. And then after that, it's our understanding that we only have the license for open forums, which is the application, and the compliance monitoring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
okay,
So at
okay,
least we've
thank you for looking at
identified
the
what we think
contract.
it
yeah,
is. Yeah. Okay, so we're waiting to hear, and we're really hopeful that they're gonna let us know by next week.
yeah.
Um,
I asked her to let me know today, but obviously it didn't happen.
Sewer operations and maintenance. This is East Warren Schoolhouse. These are based on, what about the engineer inspection, do we know?
So it looks like, it didn't happen this year. And they think that, well, it happened this year, but I think that it got rolled into, another invoice because they come and do everything all at the same time, Landmark does. And so wasn't able to work out where that went.
Sorry, sewer
Sewer
and
operation.
operation. That's a really good question. We're
It's
quite a
above law
ways in.
enforcement, if that helps.
Okay.
On
Oh, okay, got it.
Fourth page, back on the third page.
Below cemetery.
Okay, I wonder, we were at 1190 in 2025 with the budget,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't know where it ended, so I think, let's leave it, it's
Yeah.
fine. It needs to happen,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Everything else looks good. It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Any questions? Why do we have a repairs line item?
So that's like,
That's just for the
just
sewer?
for the East Warren School. Mhm,
Just for the sewer?
Mhm.
Okay, great,
Yep.
just making sure. Are we good, Camilla? You?
Yep.
Yeah. Moving right along,
Computer budget.
recreation,
We just did
I
that.
did that.
well, did we? Cause we didn't talk about the 4th of July.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
We've got park maintenance up 5,000 because of our contract fees went up with mowing and all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Warren Recreation Committee level funded, and then the 4th of July with a proposed $10,000 increase.
So that $10,000 increase was for what?
Well,
How
We
did
were-
we go over budget last year?
look, income from 4th of July
because
below.
the income
Yeah.
wasn't,
They didn't raise as much money as they usually do.
and we spent more than they normally do.
So we were
They
already,
being the Rotary?
yeah.
Okay.
So we were already over budget by like $5,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would put us at 25 if all things stayed equal. And then the idea was, this is a conversation, should we be putting more money into the parade? And I think what we just did was maybe take that out of the rec committee's budget.
Well, we put some manpower behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
thought
don't
we were
know.
putting
Yeah.
dollars behind
I
it.
don't, I mean, I still think we have to get them to allocate some money to it, if that's the case.
Outside of that budget?
No, within that budget, I just don't think we were very specific.
We
in the
didn't
meeting.
confirm
We
that,
didn't say
yeah.
like, okay, $5,000 of your budget is going
Well-
towards the 4th of July.
Although I thought I did hear Pierre say they would
Yeah.
spend some money on games and stuff, whatever.
Right,
that
and
kind of
that's
thing.
great, but we didn't ask
No.
them to allocate a specific amount or anything.
And maybe we should, so let's have
Yeah.
that conversation now. What do we think? I guess
No idea.
not knowing what we spend the money on, it's hard to know what we should spend.
So I guess my
Can I
question
just
is,
back up? Sorry.
we allocate money to the Rotary Club to do this.
Yeah.
That's how this works.
Yep.
And I assume that we're the only town that does that because it's the Warren 4th of July parade.
Yep.
Sugarbush give any money to the Rotary for this?
I think so. I think
I-
they
I
are
don't- I
typically
don't
a
know.
sponsor.
Okay. And then
Yeah, they're sponsored.
they're a sponsor, that makes sense.
They fundraise.
So I guess my question is, do we give more money to the Rotary or do we give more money to
The rec committee.
the rec committee or another part of the town that's doing, it's like the same playground problem, right?
Yeah.
So is this number is the 30 grand 4th of July parade that goes directly to the Rotary? Is that the idea?
Yeah, basically the Rotary runs the event
Uh-huh.
and then they give us a bunch of bills and we
Yeah.
pay them.
Exactly.
So just going back then, Rebecca, usually I think Susan would come in and talk about, they went over by this much or whatever. I don't think Ben came and just met with you and Dana, is that right?
Yep.
Do you know, can you tell us what the overage, where the overage
Well,
was?
some of it was they didn't raise as much funds as they normally do. Some of it they ordered some T-shirts and didn't sell as many as they thought they were going to. They ordered a bunch of signage that they won't be able to reuse because it has dates and times and years on it. So there was a lot of I won't say excessive spending, but there was a lot of extra spending that I think Ben having it be his first year. I think going forward we would like more say in what sort of gets spent, and I think he just sort of spent and then submitted the invoices. So I think that I don't know what all of it was, but I think that I know that there was some signage that was pretty fancy, considering, and then there was some T-shirts that were bought that didn't all get sold.
So it's still our budget, so I assume when you guys met with them, you said, well, don't do that again this year.
Correct.
So we shouldn't assume that it will be that much, that because they spent more, they'll spend that much more again, right?
Yeah,
So
he did sort of get his hand slapped, if you will, by us, and he now recognizes that, I think there was just a misunderstanding. I think he just sort of thought that he had this budget and that he could use it, and I think that there was some sponsors that didn't end up coming in. I can get a list of who the sponsors are and what they give, but I don't have that right at my fingertips.
So it also looks like in 2024 they spent close to the same as what they spent in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And did we also fund them at 20K then?
Mm-hmm.
And did they come in and tell us that they were going to go over budget on it, or did they just go
No.
over budget
They
and
just
did
I
the
think they just
same
went
thing?
over.
So it's not Ben. It's
Yeah.
Right.
it's a persistent
Right.
Rotary thing.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and maybe it's just, they didn't adjust their request.
Yeah.
And we all need to get with the times that things are more expensive,
Exactly.
I guess.
I wasn't as much of a part of the
I didn't
planning
see that.
in 2024 as I was last year.
I miss you, Camilla.
So the 34, we spent 34 in 2024 and 36 in 2025, and we're offering to budget 30 this year.
So they come in under budget.
With the idea that they'll at least raise 11-ish thousand.
I have to imagine that, I don't know, yeah.
Well, if we have more food vendors, that's also more festival permits, right?
Yep.
Or more whatever permit it is.
Yeah, $200 a pop or something, vendor permit.
That usually get
Big
waived.
money, big money.
So Joel, did you make a suggestion to have 2 bands or 3 bands?
I made a suggestion that instead of splitting the the time, or instead of like splitting the area downtown in the village as to have one band play and then successively have the other band play after to keep everybody in the village, as opposed to having the band end that was going to be slated for on the
Porch.
Warren Store porch, and then have everybody walk up here, and then you just sort of lose momentum. I thought between the two places. So if you could like hire or get like a flap a truck from Haps or something like that, you could put a band
Remember
on the
the
back
year
of
that
it.
they
One
caught
of the
on
one of the
fire?
floats.
Right, all the floats do it every time, and so you could have a band. You could easily pull that truck into the middle of the street
Yeah.
at
Love
the
that
end.
idea.
At the end of at the intersection or something like that, so that they're backed up against the street, and then you can have the whole street be the.
Yeah, so
I
mean,
like the idea, but from a budgeting perspective, I don't think that we've typically only had a budget for one band at the store and one band up at the field, right?
They're
So
Yes.
that would be 3 bands?
well, I don't know. I think
I was just
We
I was just
yeah.
responding to the
No, no,
email,
I- email.
and so I mean.
No,
it's
and I
just
like that. I like
But
that.
what I liked about what you suggested, Joel, was a way to maintain the band that we usually have without imposing on the porch.
Right, that was.
And
Right.
that doesn't require that we move to another band unless we were to extend the timeline, which I don't think is a good idea.
You think people are just going
Or
to get burned
if-
I
out
don't
down
think
there?
If
that we
George-
should. I don't think we should.
If George
be
wants a
parties.
band on the porch, he could do that, right?
Well, no.
So we pay for the band, we typically pay for the band that's on the porch.
Yes.
And if we did it on a flatbed this year, then we
at
wouldn't
the
necessarily
pavilion.
pay for one on the porch or at the pavilion, right?
Devin, are you suggesting you don't think the party should go
I don't
that
think
long?
it should go later.
Okay.
I think people are gonna get wasted. I know they're not drinking, but this is like really hard to untangle because there's a whole lot that we need to decide about the parade. And there's one piece in that ask from George that I don't know that we're even capable of doing, which is indemnifying him against
Yeah.
any suit. I don't think that's even possible.
Right.
Are we, sorry, I didn't mean to get us into the conversation of the specifics of that. I was
Yeah.
just trying to tie it to this budget and say, well, if we were thinking about that, I think it would be more money than this, so.
So I wonder, because we can't necessarily answer those questions, we may have to just decide on a budget and do what works
Yeah.
within it.
Yeah.
And we have to make these decisions, and I'm not really sure how.
And just one thing that did come up with Ben was possibly charging more for buddy badges
Yeah,
to cover more expenses.
they're like $1.
Yeah.
Make them $2.
Where were his thoughts about sponsorships that have dropped and being able to pick those back up or expand the people that, or the organizations that
I
have
didn't
done
hear him
sponsorship?
say anything about that.
Like
He
where,
had,
where are they with pursuing that?
so he had sort of mentioned to us that some of the sponsors fell through the cracks, and that they didn't reach out to them in time, that kind of
The
thing.
transition
So
thing.
is there a plan in place for that not to happen again?
I believe so.
But I
I'm guessing that
has
was the
that question
part of the
been asked?
handoff.
Like, are we assuming that, or
Yeah, have we
has
asked?
he?
No, he did say that he does have a plan in place for sponsors and getting hold of them sooner. He realizes last year that he didn't reach out in a timely manner, and by the time he realized the ones that had slipped through the cracks, it was almost too late at that point.
And do we have a number of how many slipped through the cracks?
Yeah, so I had that spreadsheet, not at my fingertips, but I do have it in a folder. And so my plan was to look at that and, just sort of go through and, have you talk to this one, have you talk to this one, so. Yeah.
I think what I'm hearing a little bit of is like we're feeling a little bit unsure about his leadership on getting this done. I'm not sure.
And that could be in part, I will just say, because I've never had a meeting with him. Like Susan always came and talked to the board.
Yeah, I
And
really want
I don't know him, I don't know anything about him, he hasn't said anything to me except, that request.
Yeah.
So that could be part of the,
I agree, and
Presidency.
Rebecca and I have talked about that next year, that meeting needs to happen in front of the board, like it used to.
yeah.
And I guess the other thing I heard from him at the last meeting was, and I'm curious to know, like, the sponsorship getting dropped, he's also saying that he's short on volunteer power or manpower to get it all done, so like, he's acknowledged that he needs to do that, but where's that person power coming from to do that, and is that also part of why it's falling through the cracks? Is
Yeah.
that there just isn't enough hours in the day to get it done with the
Right.
resources that are
Right.
available?
I did send something out to the prickly crowd, letting them know what the board had said, and like, hey guys, if you want to get involved, please do reach out to Ben. I think he heard loud and clear that there were some people that would be willing to help at the last meeting, and I think that's something that we need to pursue. I mean, I hate to micromanage, but also maybe we need to make some more connections.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to drum up some more support. I think we just asked the rec committee to
Right,
do that, which is
right.
awesome because that's a very different group of people, and Pierre has experience running that event. He's done it before, so that could be great. I'm excited for him to talk to Ben, and I think we need to stay on track because now we're already behind schedule,
Yeah.
and we have more to do. So I wonder, it's an extra $5,000 just to come in line with what's being spent over the last 2 years, and are we comfortable with another $5,000 because it's the sesquicentennial?
So wait a minute, $5,000, are you talking about 30,000?
If we leave it at 30, it's $5,000 just to come into line with what they've actually spent over the last 2 years. That would be 25,000. And 30 represents an extra 5 on top of the last 2 years' annual expenditures. Are you understanding what I mean?
No.
Keep in mind that he
No,
brings in
'cause
around 11.
30,
They've come in at 34 and
They've come in at
36, so I
34
feel like
yeah.
we would still need another $5,000
But
to
that,
come
but
in
they
line.
raise 11.8 or 12.5.
so you're
if
talking
you-
about, yeah, net.
Right, if you deduct
Mm.
11.8 from 36,694, you're down to 25,000.
Okay, so
is
you're
our
just
actual
you're just
expenditure.
working with the net total.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
Right. So if
Um,
we were at 25, then we'd be level funded from the actual.
I'm okay with us spending more money. I don't know if it's the Rotary or if it's some other means. I think that's my question. Is it like, are we giving
Right.
that additional money just directly to the Rotary to make it easy for ourselves, or
So
is it?
why don't we put it at 25 and talk to Pierre and the rec committee
see
and
if-
say, hey, we'll put another 5. We'd be willing to put another. What do you think it's going to cost to run the event? 2,500, 5,000 behind them to help run Brooksfield, or is that too complicated?
I think it's too complicated.
I think the problem we have, this is a little bit of the, the school and the rec department kind of thing is we can see that, that we have some organizational stuff that we need to deal with. And we haven't dealt with that. So, we certainly don't want the Rotary, I don't want the Rotary to say, you know what, fine, you do it.
Yeah.
Because the town of Warren does not have the resources to do it. So we do have to be grateful to the Rotary for
Absolutely.
picking this up.
Absolutely.
And so I don't think we should be punishing them or pitting them against the rec department. I think that's it's a bigger conversation. So I would, given that it's actually cost them at least 25 grand in the past, I would probably give them 30. But I'm fine with giving them 25 because we don't know how it's being managed. But I'm hesitant to just, throw money at the rec department without a plan for that.
I agree.
So
I'm
what?
comfortable with 30.
I'm comfortable with 30, and let's provide some direction and say, we'd like you to coordinate with the rec committee, please use them to help revive this event. And we know that we're asking for more vendors. If he's struggling with volunteerism, maybe this little bit of extra money helps hire on a couple of hands. Sometimes a hired hand can be worth a couple of volunteers.
And we need to ask them, to raise more income to offset that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least discuss that.
It's $2, they're gonna make $22,000.
If they do $2 worth of
Like-
badges, there's real opportunity there. Except I don't think all of that comes from buddy badges. It's mostly sponsors.
Okay.
Are we good with 30,000 in there?
Yes.
Joel?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Can we move on?
Please.
Do it.
Highway. Building maintenance. Oh, just another lightweight one. Do we think propane's going down, Rebecca?
That's our contracted price.
Okay.
And the repairs and maintenance line is way up because of
Property
The
management.
property
Property
management
Yeah.
contract. I think it makes sense.
I do too.
You wanna talk about the rental income?
Yeah, I was just wondering about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we gonna,
So, yeah, this is Harvey's proposed potential increase in rental income if we renegotiate the lease at the East Warren, or at the schoolhouse. And I'm not comfortable putting that in this budget without having had any conversations with them.
Definitely not. Is there no rent currently?
There is.
There is.
1520.
$1,500? So we're going from 1,500 to 17,000?
I think the idea here is based on taking the maintenance piece away from Roots Work and providing that within our own budget, because we're talking about hiring a company to do the facilities management. But again, this is a whole conversation that we haven't yet had.
Right.
So I don't think that we can budget for a thing that we don't know is realistic.
Yeah. And
Well,
they-
So I have a question about this topic.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know if this is the appropriate place or whether I should have this conversation with Rebecca before it comes to the select board, but because it's being talked about, I'll
Go for it.
just, I'm curious to know how this came about and why this is being done this way, because my understanding was, I don't know how many years ago, but a while back, the town deemed the East Warren Schoolhouse, basically like their idea was to use it as a fire practice
Yeah.
session to basically get rid of it, because it either wasn't sustainable because of all the money put in for what you get out of it. I don't know exactly how the process came that Roots Work, I mean, there were several evolutions of the building, but the town basically stepped back from spending the amount of money that they were spending to keep that building viable. And it seems, however that happened, is that now Roots Work has taken over that, and they are continuing to maintain the building. What they are doing appears to be sustainable for what is going on up there. They have a long-term renter. They have kind of accomplished the public outreach for the structure. They have a radio station up there, which is part of the community. And again, my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong, is that the town puts in very little administrative and financial into making what's going on up there happen. And I'm not saying that as a negative, I'm just
With
saying
respect to the building
Yes.
itself,
with,
yes.
with respect
yes.
to the building.
Yes.
So it's, given what the town currently has on its plate, I'm curious to know why the town is now deciding to be more involved in something that's currently working up there.
It's not working.
Can someone elaborate on that?
I mean, I think Joel and Devin can probably speak to the building issues in more depth, but I think Roots Work has like a minimal budget to be able to put towards repairs and maintenance every year that they use, and I think over time it just hasn't been able to keep up with the upkeep that's needed on that building. Specifically, lead paint removal and repainting of the building came up this year. There was a number of issues with, was it the water?
There's a rotten sill and some
Yeah.
significant siding rot that, based on our assessment, the level of repair that is required at this stage hasn't been being done incrementally in a way that we're happy with. So we asked them to pause on painting, which they were 5 years behind on doing, because we weren't sure that painting the building in its current condition was the right thing to do. Not that it wouldn't necessarily be the end result, but that we wanted to look at the building and look at our options and see what some things would cost. So that's where we got involved. And we haven't had an opportunity to have any of these conversations about how we will change or not change a lease going forward, which is why I'm saying one of our members suggested a potential increase in rental income from that building. We haven't had that conversation with Roots Work. We're not sure that that's the way that we're going to go. What we do know is that as a town, we are bringing on a company to manage our buildings. And so we're having the conversation,
Our properties.
does it make sense to have that same company manage this building as well? And if that happens, do the funds for repair come from Roots Work and it's this new company dictating how that happens, or do they come from us? So there's so much still to work out, so your question is valid and we need to have that conversation, and we're not ready to have it because we don't know yet. But I think it's a complex issue, and no one's trying to like, I'm not ready to say Roots Work, you're gonna owe us this,
Yeah.
right? So that's why we can't do, this isn't viable.
Right, and so how much of what you just said takes into account the history of having had this similar conversation, and I want to say it's probably 20 plus years ago, and I am guessing it could have been 30 years ago.
I think you're right
It's-
around the
it's-
20
so
mark, somewhere there.
again, what I'm feeling is like this feels a little bit like history repeating itself, is that the town realized that this site was now no longer up to their standards and wanted to level it and have it no longer be there because
I think
of
nobody wants to
various
level it.
reasons.
I
I
think
Well, I don't think that necessarily that they wanted to, but it was kind of like, we don't have resources and we don't have the funds, and looking at income versus expenditures, the numbers didn't add up. And they tweaked it and they tweaked it, and they looked at it again and they came up with the same results, and they did more studies and they came up with end results. So then the best scenario they could come up with is, hey, let's use it as a training opportunity for the fire department.
I think-
And make it something else that it wasn't. They didn't have tenants that could, I mean, again, there was a whole, so I'm just asking, I guess my question is, are we not repeating history here?
No,
And how much are we
I-
reaching back to what happened 30 years ago? And what has changed to make us think that reinvesting in this property, as you're suggesting, I'm not saying it's a good idea or a bad idea, I'm just asking, are we asking the question that
I think these
if
are
we reinvest?
really good questions that we need to ask,
Right.
and a conversation that we need to have.
Right, so again,
We haven't-
reinvesting, do we have tenants
And
that
to
are
your
gonna
point,
support
like
that?
I don't think history is repeating itself. We're at the next stage. okay, this building has been revived. We realize it's an important element of our community. We, the board, want it to be well cared for and maintained. How do we cooperate with Roots Work to make that happen? And one of the conversations that we had was, if this is a really big project, I'm not sure that necessarily falls entirely on Roots Work, and
Yeah.
the board may need to put funds in, right? So this isn't punitive. This is a great space. We love this.
Right.
We want this building to be sound and well cared for. How do we do that to the best ability
I
of the
think
town?
there's even if I remember from reading the lease structure between the town and Roots Work, is that there's a situation where we are responsible
Yeah.
in a way, in more, we have actual responsibility to the actual physical building that we need to uphold. And so like them proposing to spend $60,000 last year just to put a painted coat over thing and not necessarily do any of the structural work that needed to be done seemed like a real problem when we thought about it in the springtime, because it just felt like it was money that was not being spent well.
There's a lot of very rotten siding and some siding that's been repaired in ways that is not protecting the building. So the question becomes, do we do more and fix that, or do we put a coat of paint on it? And furthermore, they're working on one estimate. As a town, we're required to have an open bidding process, right? So it's a bigger conversation, and one that we really don't have time to continue right now.
Right, so
But
I guess.
I love that you're engaged in this conversation, and can we continue it?
Okay, so that's, I guess, what I'm asking for, is that I would like to be a part of that conversation, because I've been on the Roots Work Board at various times,
Yeah,
and I've also been in the valley enough to kind of have some idea of the history.
yeah,
So I guess I would like to be a part of that conversation, and like I said earlier, as I realize this probably is not the venue
totally.
for it, because of everything else. that
Yeah,
needs to
stay
be
tuned.
done,
We
so-
don't have plans for when exactly it's gonna happen, but we know it's on our priority list for this coming year.
And I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yeah. So, as far as rental income is concerned, I think we need to just follow that line item based on the actual
Yeah, I
from
don't think we can
2025.
adjust it yet. I think we need to talk to them.
Okay. Are we good on this one? Where are we? I've lost my
Building maintenance.
building maintenance.
I think we're good.
Other expenditures?
Oh, I guess I should have billed for all of my dog calls. Look at that big fat zero.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't have time. I found someone. Oh my god, I found someone who might want to be the dog warden. Oh my god. Oh my god. But they're not a Warren resident.
Does that matter?
They have to be?
I don't know if they have to be or not. It might.
We have people
We
on the
reminded
rec
me to
committee that
It's
are.
appointed, yeah.
Will you remind me to talk to you about that at some
Yeah.
point? And we can ask the LCT. Sorry. I was so excited.
That is really exciting.
So exciting. Fire pond's coming off, team.
Yay.
So is this an appropriate time to ask about the National Forest payment? I'm so curious about this. Sorry, I mean, it's right here.
No, town meeting
No,
is the appropriate time to ask
when
about
we go through the articles is the appropriate time to talk about that, right? Is that on our list for tonight?
Well,
Draft of articles.
Draft of articles. That's when we'll talk about it because
Yeah.
it appears as an article.
correct. Devin, I researched what the water system maintenance fee is.
Yeah.
And so every year, so this is where I think that 1,100 that is supposed to be in the septic. I
Yep.
think it's part of that. But I don't know this for sure, but that is to have Landmark come and test all of our water in our systems.
So in 20,
So I don't know why.
we don't know why it's down.
Right. But that is what we paid them in 2025 because I was a part of that process.
Okay. Do you want? Is there value in following up with them, or
I can.
we're running out of time?
Yep, no, I'll follow up with them.
and make sure that we're on track for all the systems
Yep.
and then equaling the line items up.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, this looks good to me. Village garden maintenance. We have a new person
Yep.
that's gonna be doing that work. And there was a significant amount of work that wasn't getting done. We don't know what it will cost. She hasn't given us a price yet. Do we wanna leave that where it is, or do we wanna put a little more in there, knowing that we've added the gardens around the pavilion? And could potentially be paying attention to some of the other things that we haven't been paying attention to. I think the Historical Society asked about potentially covering the
Correct.
propane tank that's new in the back. I was suggesting, what if we put it up to 24 and then it's under the purchasing policy limit and... Anyone? Anyone?
No opinion.
Joel? Flowers.
Yeah, what was it? I mean, so the company that was doing wasn't getting it done.
They weren't
Need
doing a good
coffee.
job, and they were costing a lot of money.
Was that put out to bid?
No, it's under the, we have a
Threshold.
$2,500 for threshold. Do you want us to put it out to bid? Do you want it bid on?
Well, I'm just curious, have you done any price comparison?
Yes, hourly, we've done price comparison, we've talked to some companies and we've asked around based on what we were paying for what we were getting, and we determined that what we were paying was not equivalent to what we were getting. In which case, maybe the amount's fine.
Is that for the triangle right there, and then like sort of around here?
Some of it, I can't keep track of what's
So
what, some of it's volunteer.
The garden that's down by the covered bridge, by the interpretive panel. It's the new stuff out by the pavilion. It's the triangle down by the entrance. And the, all the lilies and stuff that are along the fence line, and then the lilies that are down by, the bridge in between, the fire department and sort of Flatiron and
Yeah.
Pitcher
That triangle. No, that triangle is done by the.
Flatiron Triangle's done by the Mountain Gardener.
Right. Club. We can leave it.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
So the only thing,
Special
the-
appropriations.
the only thing we skipped was computer. So
Oh.
let's just make sure we go back to that.
I did have a question on one of the other expenditures.
Okay.
Yeah, let's-
What is the Blueberry Lake registration fee that we pay?
So we have to pay a dam fee to the
Oh,
state.
okay. Great.
Okay, let's do special appropriations and then, I think everything's level here, right?
Yeah, the only thing, we had increased the Warren Arts Committee, to 5,000 last year due to, one of their committee members, passing away, and unfortunately all of the funds were stuck in probate, so they didn't have anything to work with.
Did that mean they were gonna give funds back to us?
No.
No, it just meant that they weren't gonna get funded at the same amount this year.
Right.
And have we heard from all these people?
They will give us a report for the town report.
Great.
Annual report. And then just as a quick heads up, I did receive a notice from the ambulance service, that their fire bar, which is their radio dispatching, service through Waitsfield Telecom, is no longer. And so they're having to go to Capital Dispatch, which is who the fire department is dispatched by. And so Mark sent us a proposal. So basically it's 14,000 for this year, and then next year it'll go up another 8,000. So I'll be sending that around to you guys sort of once we're done with budget season, so that you can sort of ponder that for the next year.
Okay.
And the Warren Historical Society, now that that's a thing, they only get $200 a year.
I think they rely on the dues from their members
dues,
and then any donations.
Quill?
I have a question, because I've never looked at this. Down street, can someone explain that to me?
Great question. It was voted on in 2007.
I mean, I guess why are they on that list? Maybe that's a more accurate question.
Nick, did that not have to do with Bradley Brook? I believe.
I have no
I don't,
idea.
yeah, I don't know.
But I think, do we hear from them?
We do get a report from them, I believe.
Might be worth a conversation.
Devin is pulling up the town report for us.
They would be
Thank
in
you.
the table of contents in the beginning.
Oh, Down Street, last page, strengthens the communities of central Vermont by creating permanently affordable homes, promoting equity and inclusion, and connecting people to the resources and services they need to thrive. They currently provide homes to more than 900 people through more than 450 affordable apartments and 85 mobile home lots. This includes Wheeler Brook Apartments, which is home to 30 Warren residents. They have 60 new units under construction in Berlin, Barry, Montpelier, Waterbury, and exploring opportunities in Waitsfield, Barry, Randolph, and Montpelier. This is as of last year.
Okay, so does it list, I did not hear you mention, it's currently known as Evergreen Place in Waitsfield, that is owned by Down Street, is that part of?
It
They don't-
continues. So I also have here, in addition to these homeownership programs, our homeownership center team administers several financing programs, including the Vermont Housing Improvement Program, VHIP, Green Mountain Home Repair, GMHR. SASH, Support and Services at Home, is an innovative housing and care coordination model for Medicare recipients who live at home. It brings together nonprofit housing providers, social service agencies, hospitals, and community health providers to coordinate care and provide individualized support to older Vermonters and people with disabilities. It's been available statewide since 2011 and is implemented locally by designated regional housing organizations. It doesn't say anything about Evergreen.
Yeah, I mean, I think Quaylette's on there similarly to Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice, as a community resource or support, and not specific to any particular group or service that they provide in particular. So that, that's River Meadows, Wheeler Brook, and Evergreen are all Down Street housing.
Right, as well as the other ones that Devin listed, like Montpelier.
Those
and
other
areas.
Outside
other
of
programs.
here, yeah.
And how is it determined,
Dash.
like, how is the decision determined whether these organizations that are listed here, I mean, I guess like what makes them a yes or a no, maybe
Yeah.
is what I'm asking.
I think various boards at various times received a request and approved it. And
Yeah, they came in, they presented, and then
Like
it
last-
just stays on the list
Yeah.
unless we decide to take them off.
Right, like last year was an article on, Mad River Arts.
they were
Right.
added.
Yeah.
We
they were
decided to add the funding for Mad River Arts Committee.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I remember, but we can't find in the minutes, was a request for all of these companies, or all of these special appropriations to provide a budget, so we know what our funds are going toward.
Right.
Well, that was my other question, is like, where are the checks and balances of
How do we know what they're doing with this money?
exactly, and also what their organizations are doing, I can't say behind the scenes, but as well. I mean, again, like, I guess I'm just questioning some of the.
Well, and so
validity.
in the report, there will be a report from each one of these special appropriations that details what they do. And I think next year, what we'd like to see is a little bit more information on what are our funds doing
Yeah.
for
Yeah, I
these,
guess that.
for these
yes,
programs.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
I
kind
agree
of
with
where
you.
I'm going.
totally. What is this $750 helping fund?
Right, similar to the 4th of July, like, what
Yeah.
are we funding here?
Totally.
What are the Parks and Recreation, what are we funding here?
Yeah, and I think we need to make that ask of these special appropriations so that they can more clearly communicate that with us.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions on special appropriations? Great. Insurance and taxes.
So basically kept this all level funded. The county tax, we don't have a choice on that. We got a phone call last week saying that 79,000 was our new county tax number. I did bump up, unemployment compensation just because it was 872 last year. And then same with town officers liability.
Here's a question I've never asked. What is the county tax? Why have I never noticed that? What do we know about it?
We pay it to Washington County.
Yeah.
And that funds the
Yeah.
Central Vermont Planning District and
No, I don't think so.
what is it?
We
fund?
we
I
give it
don't
to
think
the
so
state,
either.
but I don't know. I don't know exactly know what it goes towards. Again, somebody asked
It's like a
questions.
monopoly thing.
I bet. I bet ChatGPT knows. Okay, are we good on insurance and taxes? And we'll find an answer to that question because it's a good one. I'm wondering, we're going back to the computer budget.
Mm-hmm.
We missed it. Where was it?
It was way back at the beginning,
Closer to
maybe?
the top, yeah.
Town clerk, admin. Is it potentially yellow and that's why we didn't see it?
No clue.
Oh, it's blue.
It's right here
I
at the
keep
bottom
forgetting
of
to
that
look for the
page.
blue. Okay, what happened here, Rebecca? You added 15,000 for
For
On the website.
the website. Yep. So you guys had asked me to break down the prices, and I did. And I just gotta find it.
Ooh, we're getting iPads?
Uh, So,
No.
a conversation came up that, we should really, anybody that sort of has, logins and multi-step authentication for the town should have a source other than their personal device for that. So this came up with, the retirement of the treasurer. A lot of her two-step is on her personal device.
Right.
And so with her being gone, anything and everything that we will, a future treasurer will need to log into, we either have to delete the account or work with the previous treasurer to get those codes, get those, those two steps changed.
Second, you need them.
What's that, Camilla?
Yeah, trying to get them the minute you need them. That's the tricky
Exactly,
part.
exactly. And so it was recommended that, we look into a different device for people. Camilla and Harvey and I sort of talked about cell phones, but with cell phones comes,
a plan.
payment for the device and then a plan. And then the more I thought about it, what if we just got, each department an iPad, that would literally live, they could take it to outside meetings with them, things like that, but it would live, here at the town office, and, a basic iPad's $350. Each select board member could get one, it would save on paper, and, it's just sort of brainstorming, so it's roughly, $3,100 to get the select board. And so like, I have an external, a town cell phone, so I wouldn't need an iPad. Andrew already has an iPad with the town, so he wouldn't need one. Jeff has a cell phone, he doesn't need a device. So it would be Lister's office, treasurer, clerk, zoning, and then the 5 select board members, so it'd be 9 devices.
Do the select board members
Why
need
would the select board
iPads?
need them? Yeah.
I don't know.
We were just sort of thinking outside the box. I
Yeah.
mean,
I'd be in favor of the departments. I don't think select boards need them at this time. I mean, I trying to think when I've needed.
Just our new email, 2-factor authentication. That's the only thing we do.
But everything we do is on our personal
That's-
devices for the most part anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need another device.
Same.
I think
I think
Rebecca
it'd
would
be more
like to
cumbersome than
have
actually.
to stop printing things.
I mean, I would love to stop printing things, but I also think I just look at how much I put in the recycle bin at the end of the night.
You also could just have people bring
But I
their
think-
laptops to the meetings, and that way that you don't have to print things.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, can you narrow that down to departments, not select board, and then, yes.
Okay.
What about the
Yeah.
website?
So the proposal that we've sort of received, sort of on a, hey, I heard you were looking to, for a new website. It's roughly $15,000 for a new website, so I included that. Right now, we currently pay, I'm just looking for, where is my, so we currently pay roughly $480 a year for,
Hosting.
Our hosting. So, and I don't know, I don't have any idea. I think you've touched on.
Like 200, I think is what it would be otherwise. That's not astronomical savings.
Right, exactly.
But we do also pay for maintenance of the website. What do we pay for that?
I mean, so in total, last year we paid Vickery Hill, $1,700 for the hosting, for any maintenance and upgrades.
Okay.
So it's not exorbitant, but
So it's not, based on cost, we don't need a new website. And we've all been talking about wanting a new website for, how long have you been on the board?
2 years
2
now.
years now. It started before you got here.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the entirety of my tenure. Camilla, what are your thoughts on this? You feel like this is a project that we could manage in 2026?
I think she stepped away.
Joel, I know you have
I'm
thoughts on the website.
I'm not in favor of it getting a new website. I think that the current architecture of the website can be tweaked into even with more tweaks and use the current WordPress templating system in a better way and reorganize the information to
Yeah.
make it cleaner and clearer.
I'm sure that's true, right? I mean, it's a website platform, right? I think where we're struggling with that is getting the people that maintain and manage the website to do that.
yeah.
Because the other part of the question I hear is more of a branding thing that you guys are more interested in. That's the thing that I hear of like Warren needs like a logo.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
stuff
no,
like
I-
that. Like,
that
it
was
doesn't
just-
look-
that
it
was
doesn't
just
look
fun
and
thing.
feel.
That was
about
me like being
Okay.
excited about
Okay.
if we're gonna build a new website, wouldn't that be cool?
Uh-huh.
That's
Should be
not
a
the
goat.
reasoning behind the new website by
Okay.
any means.
Okay.
It's usability. And for the 5 years that I guess I've been here for 7. It'll be 7 years in March.
Wow.
I
We
think.
made some requests,
Mhm.
but we haven't really like sat down with them to like, this is what we act like. I don't even know them, so like I can't
Yeah.
really.
Well, I know
talk
that
to them.
Rebecca has tried, and I know that prior to her, Cindy tried. And what we find is that there's a lot of, like, it's just not user friendly. The number of emails that we get, I can't find the thing, like, how do I do this? Where are the documents? Where's the information? Why aren't the select board emails listed? Like, they're there, but nobody sees them. Like, it's been really challenging, so. I don't know,
I will
would like-
say, as a super user of the website, I still don't know where most of the stuff is.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I think it needs some attention. I think, Joel and I sort of sat down and, went over it, but I think, it could be laid out differently. I also think that there's a breakdown of, I mean, I can only do so much. I don't know how to do everything. I think the way that it was designed is a little bit complicated, and I sometimes think that companies do that for a reason, so that we have to have them forever. But, I will say that, for the most part, Vickery Hill is always responsive when I ask them to do updates. Like everything, updates cost money. Certainly not $15,000, but,
But they were not amenable to building a town garage page.
right,
Like, they just flat out wouldn't do it.
right.
That's not responsive.
Right, and if I knew how to do it, I would do it myself, but I don't.
They just wouldn't
They
communicate.
wouldn't do it. They said it couldn't be done,
Couldn't
or
be-
they wouldn't.
yeah, I don't remember
I don't
what
even
their
know.
excuse is.
So can someone else
That seems
take
Strange.
over
But that's what we get.
Well,
often.
what you're calling Victory
Over and
Hill?
over
and
again.
the
I
ones
hear
that-
that.
They're the company that sort of the back end
They administer.
the administrator, they
Can you
administer.
get a different administrator for the website you currently have?
I don't see why not, but I don't, we'd
Oh, I
have to
have
put
no
out
idea.
an RFP
Yeah.
and all of that
I think
stuff.
some people work in WordPress, some people work in other platforms, so I have no idea.
We'd have to change, I mean, it could be done, yes, you could transfer the whole domain and everything to somebody else and have them deal with it, and,
Mhm.
you know.
I mean, would
It-
that
it
be
can-
not
it can
another
happen.
cost comparison to see what that would involve? And look at what that would cost, and is that person potentially more user-friendly for the people that are
Using.
requesting?
Right.
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 Town garage page, for example?
Yeah. And I guess we could put out an RFP to see if, you know, there's an interest. I don't know if, I'm
What did you say
assuming,
we pay currently?
480 for hosting, and they paid 1,700 in fees from updates and tweaks. And
it's pretty reasonable. I had sort of received a not accurate number on what they charge us, and so I did my own research, and it's really not that
Yeah.
bad.
So I guess the question is like, do we want to put some money into either revamping the one that we have or building a new one? And if so, now's the time to put it in the budget, and if not, we won't, then we don't. But we have to decide, and we need to do it quickly.
I'd like to see us put some money into it, whether that's with Vickery Hill or someone else, but I would like to see us put some money into sort of giving our website a refresh.
Yeah. Camilla, are you back yet?
She said that she has a very bad headache, and so
Oh.
she's off and on.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry. Okay, what do you guys think? We can either fund something and try and work with what we have, or we can put money in for a whole new thing. And if we use it, great.
I'm surprised that they're not responsive. It
I
shouldn't- it
mean,
should
I
not
hear
be-
you, but
It
it's,
should not be that hard to like put an extra
I-
page on the website.
I know.
mean, It's
I-
but
just
it's
not.
been every year,
I
the
am
same thing.
for it. I don't know if we should do all of $15,000 for it, but I'm interested in the RFP to think if we could get a new administrator back end for it, and exploring that option. So I'd almost
Yeah, I
be
agree.
like 10K. I don't know.
We're talking website.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. We definitely need to make changes. I don't know that we need to build a whole new site, but I think we need to allocate money for,
Can you put a compromise?
For
cut it in
investment
half
into
and
making-
give it a
making
starting
a-
point?
Yeah, why don't we put
Having a
$7,000
relationship
in
with-
it?
what?
Let's put 7 in there.
Yeah, I was just saying, if you split the cost, then you have some
Yeah.
money to play with to figure out which direction you wanna go.
Yeah.
And you'll know more in another year as to whether that was viable without losing your shirt and
Yeah.
have more information.
Does that work?
It works for me.
Okay,
Great.
great.
Okay, so
All right.
It's 42. No.
Hey team, that's
8
the
o'clock.
budget.
Draft of articles.
Draft of
Do we
articles.
need to go through that? or-
Special appropriations. We did that.
We did it.
Great.
Here's the draft of articles.
Mm-hmm.
Camilla, do you remember what, the $30,000 for the conservation fund, wasn't that a special ask for last year? Like, what happened here?
Yeah, it was, I wanted to look back at that today, because,
2024 was 30,000.
So it's my understanding
but
historically that we put 20,000 in their capital, and then we ask for 20,000
Yes.
as an article every year, so that we're giving them 50,000 total.
Yes.
But we allow the voters to vote this way on the 30,000.
I thought it was
No,
20,000.
it was 20 and 20, it was.
And then
And they asked for a
for 10
special
more
30.
last year.
And
Yeah.
has anybody heard from Hito?
Of course not.
I was trying to remember, he came in, right, or he came to a meeting about his budget,
Yep.
and
I don't,
I think he kind of waffled on the 20 or 30, as I recall. But I don't remember specifically. Yeah, unless he asked specifically for 30 for some reason this year, I think it should be back to the 20.
Yeah, I think that's how I feel. I think the 30 was because of the Roxbury land, right?
Yeah, I can't remember specifically.
Let's touch base with him,
Okay.
please. I added this one. Shall the town of Warren vote to take up discussion of the local options tax?
Waitsfield's doing it. We should do it.
Well, they are putting on their ballot to implement the local
Yeah.
options tax. That's not what this is.
Do we need to?
They had their meeting last night for
Yeah.
the town, it was warned for the town, so people could come in for the, like, the townspeople came in to offer their comment
Yeah.
on whether it should be on the ballot or not, is where
Where did they fall?
they,
Do you know?
very overwhelmingly positive. There were two
Yeah.
people in dissent, but the 14, 15, 16 people, they were all very positive.
So they're putting it on the ballot,
Yes.
not on their, as an article.
Oh, yeah, it's like a two-part thing, because the wording of it has to come first. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's kind of complicated, but it was very positive response.
Okay.
Do we
So
have
this
to?
is just like, hey, do our town, I wanted to provide an opportunity for Josh to educate the townspeople on what this looks like so that we have some read on what people are feeling going into 2026 as far as we are concerned. Because we have to take it up, but then it needs to be approved by voters.
Is
So it has
this-
to be warned for Josh to come and just kind of give a presentation, or?
I don't
Because
think
we're
it
not
does.
asking for a vote.
No, I don't think it does. I don't really know.
I don't think we need to make it an article because I don't think we need people
I don't
to
either.
vote on it.
Yeah,
I think the select board can take up the topic without.
So how do we provide an opportunity for Josh to present? And do we do that at town meeting or do we just have him come here? Again,
I think it would make more sense to have it as select board meeting, only because at town meeting, I mean, we have a lot of topics to cover that we need to vote on, for one thing, but there's a lot of education and back and forth questions, and I think that's gonna happen with this whole conversation. So I'd rather have it be at a meeting or a public meeting even,
Well, that's what
you
I'm
know, like
saying
a special meeting.
Why not follow what Waitsfield did? And my understanding just from just that comment just now is that they opened it up to the public to come in and give
Well,
feedback.
we're
Special
always
meeting.
open to the
To
public.
give, well, no, but I mean, open it up, similar to what you did with the town garage. Let's educate the public. We're gonna propose this.
Yeah,
And have people that, can explain it.
yeah,
And also provide a venue for people to learn what that means and then
Yeah.
also give their opinion. And then you can kind of reduce that down to whoever
Okay.
makes the decision.
right.
So they did that in anticipation of, you know, before their town meeting, so that they
Right.
knew whether to put it out, but we would not be doing that.
Right.
We don't
Right,
have
I
time
think
for
our
that,
timeline
so,
is gonna
yeah.
be too short to do it that way, but if you were gonna
The
look at it.
sooner-
You could put it
Soonest.
on the midterm.
Would be the midterm election. Yeah. Okay, so we'll take that one off. The next one is, shall the town of Warren vote to raise and expend the sum of 19,000 for the support of a project manager or implementation personnel for the Vermont Route 100 active transportation corridor being pursued by the Mad River Path Association?
And your thought would be to have Misha come and present.
Yeah. Misha is excited. He would love to talk to everyone there. I feel like that, it feels like a good place to have, you know, like the Conservation Commission. This is a previously unallocated amount of money. And the path has seen a lot of support through public engagement. So let's let the voters speak to whether they want to increase the budget. That's my thought process.
Or allocate a budget. We don't actually have a budget allocated right now.
Yeah, I mean, just
Right.
increase the
Yeah.
general budget. Also, I
Yeah.
don't know if this wording is perfect or not, but
Yeah, well, maybe we have to ask Misha what his thoughts are on the wording. Just
Tell me.
are you okay with it in concept?
I like this concept because it felt uncomfortable at the beginning when I first started on, when we first had to vote on $400,000.
Yeah.
And honestly, like that was
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was out of control.
Yeah, and I think Misha has heard that loud and clear from not just us, but Waitsfield as well, that we need more time and more input and more education on funds.
Opening it up to somebody else to make the decision,
Yeah.
I think, is much better.
Okay.
honestly.
I agree with that. Yeah, I like the concept.
Camilla, you good?
Yep.
Do you want me to ask Misha to help me with that, some of that language?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And then the next one, I think this comes from Marie. Shall the town of Warren vote to make the town hall the permanent home for the library? If yes, shall the town of Warren vote to allow the library to expand into the basement level while still maintaining access to the kitchen for the citizens using the building?
So I think.
Have they talked to us about that?
They're talking to us right now.
Yeah, so, just a quick update, and it looks like, Susan, is on, she's the chair of the library board. I went to their, meeting last Monday, and it's been brought up a couple of times about, you know, the language from 2007, I believe, is the piece of, the article that Marie sent me, that talked about moving the library from here into that building. But there was a lot of language around, the fact that it would not be permanently over there. So that basically,
At the time, there were potential plans to build another facility for
Correct.
the library.
Yeah.
And then we rehabbed the Blair Barn and put it in between the two buildings, which is where some connector was planned to go.
yeah,
So that is not happening, unless it's a skywalk library.
You know, I think, you know, we all are seeing, you know, that the library does use that space. They use, obviously, the library floor, and then, you know, the basement's getting used more and more frequently by Amanda, in the kids' programs. And, you know, I think I can speak for, you know, all of you, but like, if the library wasn't over there in that building,
What would it be doing?
What would it be doing? You know, probably not getting the love and attention that it needed by having somebody in there on a regular basis and seeing the issues that happen.
I'd like to see the voters weigh in on it becoming permanent now that it's been there
Correct.
for like 19 years.
Yeah.
I
What
know.
if they say no?
Well, then it stays there
Then it
temporarily. Then
stays
it stays in its
there.
temporary status.
So I guess the point is like voting on it does nothing. Like it would still stay there, right?
What
Like,
it would
it's not
allow,
going anywhere else.
I think the point is for it to allow for expansion.
Yep.
Because
Right,
I
because
don't-
if they agree that this is Susan, yeah,
Susan.
if we get official permission from the town that it is our real home, then yes, it allows us to do more with the space. We've seen continued increase of usage from our town citizens, and we have phenomenal director and children's librarian that do phenomenal programs, and just giving them more flexibility to do more with the space, if we know that we are permanently there.
like
So I
add
think
something
it would
to
just
a wall.
validate our ability to do things.
Do they not
And if
feel
they
like
say
need to do it?
No, they can't.
then
Sorry, Susan. Kaylee doesn't know the whole backstory of the temporary nature of the library. Everything is removable. Nothing is fastened to the wall or the floor.
Okay.
Does it have to be a vote? Can we just decide right now?
Yeah, like does that have to go to the
I think
town?
the fact that it was.
No,
was-
it does have to go to the town.
Yeah, it was so controversial, when they first moved over there, that I think we feel strongly that we need to have.
Because when it moved over there, then the town meeting had to go up to the school. Is what I think.
So many things had to change.
That was I think part of
The
the.
Mother's Day Follies got kicked out.
I think
All
that's what
kinds of
people-
things changed,
people
right?
upset, yeah.
So they've had time. We're all accustomed to it in that position now. I feel confident, Susan. I don't know what you guys hear over at the library, but I feel like it's probably an easy yes. And hopefully, what that provides is an opportunity for them to officially use the space that they're already using downstairs. And this
Well, I
is
think that's why I think it needs to be a public conversation, because I think there's one thing to say that where they are, right now as designated is their permanent home, but changing their use of the rest of the space, I think, is a bigger conversation
Totally.
that other people, that
yeah.
public wants to be part
And
of.
it has to start with whether they're actually permanently there or not.
Right, right.
Jim, you have a comment or question?
Hi, yeah, I do. I'm just wondering, how does that does the select board still have control over who in the town can use the building?
Yes.
Who can use downstairs, or is it the library only?
Well, I think that if they were to expand downstairs, the town would control who has access to the kitchen, which is as it's worded here, and the use of the upper floor.
I think the
So-
town would give permission for them to expand downstairs. It's not like they could just do it if
Right, we
it was
would-
their permanent home, right?
Yeah, we would guide how that goes.
But I feel like
Well,
the
I
second
mean,
part of
but
this
would you-
article isn't clear on that.
Okay, how
Yeah.
could it be more clear? Because this is just a draft.
I would take out the second part of that and have the second part of that be a select board conversation with the library of the use of the bottom floor. I don't know. I feels like
I kind of agree with Kaylee. I
Yeah.
think that
Well, I
that it's an ongoing conversation, not a one-off at town meeting.
Right. I
maybe
feel
we
pretty
just make
strongly that, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jim.
I feel pretty strongly that the town needs to maintain control of the library, not, of the town hall, not the library. Now, whether or not we choose to let the library, use downstairs or do other things, that's fine. I mean, but that's a town building, and throwing it up to the library, I don't know, that,
I don't think that's at all what is meant. That's not the intention behind this article, Jim. I hear you. And that's not the intention. So what should this read? What do you guys think?
I guess my question is it a two-part thing? Is that location going to be a permanent residence for the library?
Yep.
And then there's the question of expansion.
Yes.
So can you address each article separately? Because I think that part of what we're saying is how is the downstairs gonna be used and who controls that? And that's part of the expansion, potential expansion.
Yeah.
As opposed to what's currently going on upstairs is not about expansion, it's about permanency of
Yeah.
let's declare that that's okay, that that's where they're gonna be.
Yeah.
So
I
is it
mean, I
not
think that's
too-
what this said. Like, the second part can only be true or allowable if the first part is true.
I just feel like at town meeting having that conversation seems like a lot longer of a conversation, the second part, than the first part. I feel like the permanent.
I agree.
I feel like asking the voters to say like yes or no on whether the library should be permanently in that building, I think is important, and I think we should bring it to them. I've been swayed by all of your efforts on that, but I think the second question that I would like how that basement space is being used, along with the conversations we've been having about the top floor of the town hall and how that's being used, I feel like that's a bigger conversation that we can't necessarily have on the floor of town meeting.
I agree, because I think it's just a calendar issue. It's just a programming time.
So should we go with, like, the first part of shall the town of Warren vote to make the town hall the permanent home for the library? And we can either just leave it at that, and then if that, passes, then that allows the town, the select board and the board of trustees to start pursuing any changes to the space, assuming that the select board allows us to use, the basement space that we're already using. Or if you want to keep the second part, if yes, will the town of Warren vote to allow the library to either investigate expansion or something, but right,
Or,
maybe
like,
it's
present
better
a
just to stick with the
proposal.
first question and then we pursue it offline. And because before we do anything permanent or, significant, we would have community conversations, we would get input. So maybe
Yeah.
the first part is all we need for this year.
I think
Right,
so.
because then the library can come back and say now that we have permanent residency, so to speak, now we're looking for an expansion. And that could be a
Right.
conversation that happens later, as they take ownership of what you're now proposing.
I guess I have two thoughts. One is, what's the point of town meeting if we're not having town-wide discussions? Why are we afraid to have what
Well,
might be
Devin,
a
we
discussion?
are having townwide discussions, but town meeting is a finite period of time. We can't have all of the big discussions there. I don't,
But we
I
had
feel
at
like the
some
rest of the
point-
board has said that we're in favor of the first part of the article.
At some point, we had a conversation at town meeting about the library's home. But,
Yes,
and it was
that's what we wanna
appropriate
put on.
then, but it's not appropriate now.
I
guess
think
that's what's
I
confusing
think
me.
it's appropriate now. I think the thing that we're getting hung up on is the use of that building. We've talked about as a board wanting to re-envision the top floor of that space. So where I'm getting hung up is I love that the library uses that basement space right now, but the library expansion into that basement space feels like we should all have a conversation about how we envision that basement space being used, just the same as we would envision how that top floor is being used. Before we can do that obviously publicly in select board
Yeah.
meetings or in a special meeting, maybe at town hall. But I feel like and I don't know, I'm not afraid to bring it to town meeting. I just don't know that
That we're ready.
I don't know that we're ready, or I don't know that it's actually going to accomplish much. Like
Okay.
I don't
might
know.
be
It's,
self-defeating.
I don't think it's going to bring clarity to any of the parties involved and who actually is involved in that space. Like I don't think anyone would say, "I don't want the library to use that space."
Right.
Yeah.
And
But
I
there
don't
may
know.
be too many
I
disparate
don't know
ideas.
what it accomplishes.
Okay. So
I think we should
Susan,
just leave it as the
how do
first.
you feel about leaving it as just the first part? Is that all right with you? And then we can take up the second part with our boards and eventually, if needed, to the voters?
Yeah, I think so, because it really, we just want to know that we get permanent residency status or whatever, and then that's not going to prohibit us from brainstorming ideas of how to use the space, rethink the space. You guys maybe have some visions for the third floor, we have some visions for the basement, and we can all have those conversations and get information so that we can then, present to voters in the future a more congealed plan that maybe doesn't throw up red flags because people are, what do you mean you're going to use the basement? What happens to me using it for a blah blah? When there's sort of, if we talk about it and go to the with a completely gelled plan, then people will be like, oh, okay, I get it. We're going to do this here, and so I think maybe it makes sense to just leave it at that and work the other details going forward. Because I don't think
Okay.
we're prohibited from doing that.
Right. No, we're not. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, current taxes into the town of the hands of the town treasurer, which we don't have. Rebecca, Article 7.
So, with the conversation that we had with the listers last week, this may get a little bit fishy. Harvey and I and Julie and Nemrick are having a meeting on February 2nd, which isn't gonna help our article, on what getting our tax bills out might look like.
So we could stay with the article as it is, and if needed, we could amend the
We could,
article
mhm.
at town meeting. If we learn something. new.
Yes, however, August 15th is a Saturday and November 15th is a Sunday.
Oh, right.
Okay.
So,
So they would need to change it.
So
we
let's
do need to
just change them.
Yeah. So we have to give at least 30 days after July 15th. So my recommendation would be to change it to August 17th
Great.
Mhm.
and then change November 15th to November 16th.
Okay.
Does that work for you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? Green Mountain Forest Service money go to the PTO.
Joel.
I'm just curious. What's the story?
Morning Glory.
It's a hotly
it's
contested issue.
long.
Yeah, I mean, I remember listening
Yeah.
to a guy stand up last
Yeah.
year and, you know, being upset about it.
Yeah. Camilla, do you want to give this, or do you want me to?
I think Camilla's off.
Okay. When we consolidated districts, is that right? Is that when this happened? No.
I don't know the answer to that.
Act 60, when Act 60 was passed. And we started sending a lot of money to the state, to other for other school districts. The funding was no longer available for the ski program. And the Warren PTO asked for the Forest Service money in order to fund the ski program, along with other programming that was no longer in the budget. It's something we vote on every year. There are always a couple of people who wonder why we do that.
It seems
And
arbitrary and strange.
overwhelmingly, the room erupts in outrage
Yeah.
when someone suggests the money goes elsewhere.
It's not about the money going elsewhere. It's about the trail of the money that people are upset about. That I witnessed.
What do you mean? Sorry,
Because-
say that again.
Well, because Warren as a town is perfectly willing to support the PTO and give them $25,000, right, from the public to give them the money.
Yeah.
It seems arbitrary to take something as income that's labeled that we get from the National Forest and then just siphon it through and just give it to the PTO. Why not just take the 25 grand into our coffers and then redistribute it as the people of the Warren supporting the PTO? It makes a totally different message.
I think I
I
think
have no idea why we don't do that.
that's a great question.
I totally hear you.
It's so silly.
It may be that the town hasn't been willing to support the PTO.
Well, that's
I
it.
don't know.
Maybe they're not. Maybe the people don't want. Maybe there's so many taxpayers that are upset that their money goes to so much money goes into Harwood. But like,
I think,
come on, like
Oh,
let's
hi.
let's be
Yes,
let's
they
be
might
real
they
about
might just
it.
see it as like, okay, this is an income I'm paying to go to the PTO. This is just something that's granted out in the ether, so therefore it makes them feel better.
I think
that's
I think
silly.
it's a holdover
Yeah.
that, as Devin said, when
Act 60.
we first started having to fund these programs, instead of whoever the board was at the time saying, okay, we're just gonna add $25,000 to the budget and give it, as a line item to the PTO, that's how they kind of explained it to the public and put it in front of the public to say, well, we actually get this money and we could just pass it on there. So my sense is that it's just always stayed on that as the same, same transaction.
Are you
but-
suggesting that perhaps we just fund the PTO? And is that something
Well-
towns do?
I think,
We already are. There's a
interestingly,
line item
it
for
could
PTO in the
actually
budget.
be an
To
article
other towns.
I'm listening,
to
Camilla.
discuss that. I don't know. I'm just wondering if what we want to do is actually have this discussion about changing it.
I mean, why not? I mean, isn't that what the 200 grand going to the PTO for the
ARPA?
the playground? I mean, we're
No,
funding.
well, that was
But
through
that wasn't,
ARPA.
so they fund the Ecos program and the ski program.
So what you see under other expenditures, that is the Forest Service money. Which is why it
Yes.
shows up as an actual but is never budgeted.
Right. So we're already giving
No, yes,
other
we gave them,
expenditures on Warren PTO.
Right.
It's already on the budget as a line item that we're giving the money to the PTO.
well,
like-
it's not, because we don't
Yes.
budget it that way, we just show it as spent that way.
Okay,
Right? Yes, you're totally right.
but it just seems so strange.
Yeah, semantics, yes.
It's totally semantics. So, and
And
this
that's,
is.
that's the temperature that I got from the meeting last year, is people are just like, why is it so arbitrary? Like, why are we funneling money through, like, it just,
Right.
it doesn't make, the lines
I
aren't connected correctly.
I also see, having seen this at now 5 town meetings where I feel like it always comes up, the reaction of like, well, it's Forest Service money, so it feels like we should be giving that back to like the Conservation Commission, not the PTO. Like the PTO feels so like not in line with that same kind of mission.
Maybe we should do what we did with the Conservation Commission and just put it in the special appropriations and take it off as an article.
I think that there are two pieces to it, and I think Joel's right that, that we could just take in the money and then decide whether the town wants to give that kind of money to the PTO. Because I think there are people who are saying, with $25,000, we could put that towards other things. And because we don't, it's like us giving $14,000 to the ambulance, or, you know, $10,000 to the Mad River Seniors. We don't control that money. It's not money the town is spending, it's money the town is giving to somebody else to manage.
Yeah, so
But like Quail just said, we want to see budgets, you know? So I think there are people who question whether that large chunk of money should go to the PTO.
So I guess the article, in my mind, should say, should the town give the PTO $25,000?
Yes.
And
not the Forest Service
And
money.
I love that idea.
ignore
Yeah.
everything else
Right.
and just say, is
Yeah.
this something
I'm
you're
so
willing to do?
excited for what the conversation's gonna look like this year. I think it's
But I think take
just
the
seems-
National
it
Forest
just
Service
seems
out of it.
cleaner
I think
to me.
that's a good point.
I think it's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
let's do that.
Well, do you think there was ever a chance that the National Forest Service money is like a pilot, right? It's like a payment in lieu of taxes
Yeah.
that we get.
Mhm.
Was there ever an assumption that if that went away for some reason, that we wouldn't then fund the PTO? Like, I'm wondering
I don't
if
know,
that was like
maybe.
a consideration of why they did it. Of
I
like,
think it
Yeah,
was
that's
a
a good point.
reaction. I think it was just a reaction to the serious funding shifts that happened after Act 60.
I think this
Okay.
gives the townspeople more
direct.
flexibility and direct responsibility for saying, yes, I want this, or no, I don't want that.
Okay, so how
So,
does that play
yeah.
into what
Can you say that again, how you
conundrum
said
we
it?
are already
Shall the
having
town vote?
Shall the town vote to give the PTO $25,000?
as a special appropriation?
So then am I
Yeah.
to understand that correctly, that by doing that, if the vote were to come in at a no, then the forest money would then still be
It's just an
in the
income.
town as income, and it could be, for example, any of those people that, you know, like Down Street or the Arts Committee, like,
Well,
that
it would
could
just
be.
lower our bottom line.
Well, it would lower, it would give you an opportunity to spend that money differently if it were voted no, and if it's voted yes, then
Yeah.
that money, as you said, the 25,000 goes and it isn't there.
Right.
But I guess that's, my question is, so if it gets voted down, what happens to the forest money then?
It's just
It
income.
goes into your budget.
It would just
and you
become
have
income.
Yeah.
Just
it to
revenue.
Just send somewhere else.
And then
potentially.
It-
next
Up to
year
the
we
tax
Just,
rate.
it would just lower the tax
Yeah.
rate.
Right.
By
And
however
next
much
year, you
that
could
would
have
be.
that, yeah.
And then, and then the next year, you could be like, hey, we
We've
have
got
this
this
$25,000 that we used to spend in this way. Is there something else we want to do with it now?
Right.
Do you want to give it to the rec committee to put it into the,
Or do you wanna help the
Playground
town
or
garage,
whatever
or
it
do you
is.
wanna
Right.
put it towards a shade structure or?
I mean,
Yeah.
why give it
Affordable
to,
housing project.
why not just give it to the rec committee?
And let somebody else
Active
manage the
transportation
playground.
corridor.
Well, and so that's what I was saying in my email is I think, you know, maybe we should have this on a rotating basis.
Right.
So my only reservation with that
Mm-hmm.
is the PTO relies on this money at this
Yes,
point. Like they have set programming depending on this money. And so if we are considering defunding that, it would
Yeah.
it would behoove us to tell them. in
And
advance.
it would impact the children of the town
It will, absolutely.
in
Like,
a big way.
Yeah,
I'm not saying.
So we still
I'm
do
just
ask
saying-
that question every year.
yeah.
Yes.
They can't count on it because we have to ask
Exactly.
it. We do ask it every year. We don't promise it. So that's not, but as far as the rotating piece, I don't see, I think then you're still coupling it with the National Forest Service.
Yeah.
I would rather see it go under special appropriations, and if somebody new wants to come and say, hey, you know, we could use some money, then they have to make that appeal.
I guess then I would amend, should the town put, add the Warren PTO to special appropriations and give them $25,000.
Yeah.
So we're moving the Warren PTO into the special appropriations line items, and we're going to fund them $25,000.
I would make it two separate articles.
Okay.
I don't know why. Like, I feel like if it doesn't,
That might be a VLCT question
right? 'Cause
about
it's-
how to craft the article.
Yeah, there are two, you can do two-part, I think.
Because
right?
I wonder if they say no, we don't want it a special appropriation. Okay, then we have to vote still. Do you want to allocate $25,000 to them
Okay.
this year? Like, I think you would want the.
Last year, I'm just looking.
Why would one be no
Go
and the
ahead.
other be yes?
Wouldn't it just,
Well, what if people, or
Why would they not? I'm just trying to
Because
understand.
maybe they don't
logic.
want to fund them every single year.
maybe they don't want it in the budget every single year. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
Oh,
well, why wouldn't you treat the PTO like any other organization that gets put on that list? Like, if it,
because we're not good at following up on that list, apparently.
no, but I mean, okay, so you're asking, do you want to, you're asking the town voters
Yeah.
to vote yes or no whether you give the PTO $25,000.
Mhm.
If they say no, the PTO then has to, as Camilla said, it's not promised.
Right.
So then the PTO goes, oops, we're short on this, can we then apply like the Arts Committee or whatever for a line item for X? And next year, it's on the budget, do you give them that or not? Like I feel like, why are they not having to apply for the money like any of those other organizations on your current list?
I mean, it seems
I think that is a
short.
very valid
Good question.
point.
Good
Because
question.
they're-
So to
by
that
doing
end,
it this way,
okay. So how do we craft the article
So
to accommodate what we're saying?
here's
just
what,
what Joel said.
yes, here's
Add
what,
them as a special appropriation.
No, just do we approve giving
A special.
PTO $25,000? Because if they say yes, then you don't even need to do anything further. They get it.
Right.
And if they say no, then the PTO has to come back to you and say, we're now short, can we ask for the money? Like, now
So
they have
that-
to officially ask
that-
for the money like any other organization.
That would support Kaylee's argument of having two articles. Shall the town add the Warren PTO as a special appropriations? And shall the town advance an appropriation of $25,000 for the fiscal year of 2026?
But my question goes back to, why are we treating the PTO, like, why is the PTO, the second line, why are we treating them different than any other organization that comes in? Like any other organization, we're not going down the road and saying, oh, this needs to be funded, should we put them on the article of,
Right. No,
like, it's up
I
to the
guess the
PTO
only
to
reason.
request to be put on there, not the town to assume that they wanna be put there.
I
Like,
see.
we're kinda
I see what you're saying.
putting the
We're
cart
doing the
before
work
the
for
horse.
them.
Did they even ask for this article this year? Or did we just assume that?
we always put it on there. So
So
last
that's
year,
the only reason that I feel like
we need to.
we could do the legwork, because I understand that Camilla said that, we still have to
It's not
vote on it.
guaranteed.
Yes, technically that is true. There is usually only one, maybe two people opposed. So in my mind, that means the PTO is counting on this money, right? Because overwhelmingly, year after year after year, it is funded this way. So it would be doing them a very big disservice to just yank that rug out from underneath
But you
them.
could also give them, like any other thing that gets warned, is say we are adding this article to the town budget, which will be voted on by the town, just to give you the heads up, because this is different. So now there is the likelihood that if the voters come out and vote it differently than it's been done in the past, you've been forewarned.
I think if we
that
put
would
it
be
on
the
the ballot,
nicety is
it
just
wouldn't get
say,
approved.
I'm sorry, what?
I think if we put this on the ballot. I think if this was like something that
People had
all
to-
voters actually had to vote on, instead of it just, because, let's face it, last year we had such a low attendance at town meeting. I think if people actually had to vote on this like they do an elected official, I don't think it would pass.
I don't understand how, I hear you. How does that inform what we do here?
I'm not saying it, I'm just saying, like, I think at town meeting, it gets brought up, but I think, you know, with less people in the room, you know, it usually passes through because people get frustrated and it's not easily explained and we move on.
You don't want to be the naysayer in the room.
Correct. But
Okay, so
last year, when we added the Mad River Arts, the article read, "Shall the town of Warren vote to raise, appropriate, and expend the sum of $2,000 for the support of Mad River Valley Arts to provide services to the residents of the town?"
And how did that get received? Was that a yes?
That was a yes.
It was.
And so
and
going forward,
they made an ask.
They
They
made an
came
ask.
to the board and
Correct.
said, how do we do this? We would like to receive a special appropriation, to
Yeah.
your point. And so maybe to thread the needle, we could ask to raise and expend $25,000 to the PTO for the fiscal year 2026 and not put them on the list of special appropriations and let them know, hey, if you guys want this money again, you need to come in, ask for a special appropriation, provide us with a report, show us a budget, and where's this money going and what are you doing with it?
Because that's what we do with every other one.
Because that's what we do with every other organization.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that's great.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Camilla, how do you feel about that?
I think, yes, putting them on a special appropriations, if they want to be on that line item, then yes, they're gonna have to do what everybody else does,
Yeah.
which is file reports to give us a budget and.
And it would be nice to not argue about that at town meeting every year.
We need
Right.
something to argue about. Camilla, what do you think? Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Great.
So we're basically taking National Forest money out of that line.
Yeah.
Just-
Shall the town vote to raise and expend $25,000
To the Warren PTO.
to the Warren PTO?
Got it.
Select board to accept land, set the date, Australian ballot. Anything else?
Dynamite.
Great. Done. Looters.
8:42.
Okay. We're supposed to be done with looters 42 minutes ago.
Yep.
Done,
We were
Camilla.
supposed to be done with looters 42 minutes ago.
Yeah. All right. So what are we doing? Going through the comments? Here. I
We don't.
forwarded you all a response. Sorry.
I think you wanted to open this up for any of us to raise any significant issues, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I got email questions, from Devin and Harvey in particular. Joel,
I have a list of
Was your-
stuff that
Okay.
that I wrote down and I didn't email it to you, but I have a list. I read through the whole thing.
okay,
I'm good.
hopefully, I don't know, yeah, I may need to get back to you on some of the stuff,
Yeah.
if I don't have answers right away.
So just remind us of our goal, Camilla. We need to warn the meeting by next week, is that right?
Yeah, so we want it to go out in the paper next Thursday, which would mean submitting it on Tuesday, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Submitting the warning for February 17th hearing.
Okay, so
So
we
what I
can,
was hoping was that tonight, if we had any edits to make, we would decide on those edits, get them to Sharon so that she can make the edits, and then we have to, and then we'll get it to the planning commission, and we'd be able to warn the hearing with that draft. So, I did respond to, or I forwarded you a response from Sharon about Harvey's question. on emergency shelters. I don't know if you guys got to see that or not.
I can pull it up.
Sorry, I have this, here's some. That.
Where did it go? I know I saw it and I don't see it now.
I got it
I
here.
have it.
Essentially, emergency shelters are permitted, meaning you have to get a permit for them in those districts, but it is per statute. Were added by statute to the list of government and community facilities that municipalities must allow.
Mm-hmm.
The last line. Yes, they're allowed in village districts, and yes, they require a permit from the zoning administrator, but may not require DRB review or a public hearing, in essence.
Right.
Okay. You haven't had a chance to respond to my questions, I think, right?
I can do it verbally, though. I did.
Oh, okay, so one of them was about ADUs. It says that you're allowed one ADU per single-family dwelling. Does that apply also to a duplex? Because we now allow those as permitted uses anywhere we allow a single-family dwelling.
Right. So we went around and around on that one. We ended up just restricting it at the last round here to single-family homes because of the complication of whether, if you allowed an ADU for a duplex, did that mean you were allowing 2 ADUs? Because a duplex would be 2 dwellings, so could a duplex have 2 ADUs? And we went around it so many times that we decided for this iteration to restrict it to single-family homes, and then we can dig into that. If we want duplexes, because it's a duplex, to be allowed to have 2 ADUs, which gets to be
Or one.
pretty,
Either would be possible,
but
depending
yes.
on how we wrote it, right?
yeah, we would have to write it accordingly. So in the interest of time, we just decided to keep it to single-family.
Okay.
Where's your other question?
The other one is about home occupation and the requirement that all vehicles and equipment be stored in shelter. And I just don't
Yeah.
agree. I think it's an undue burden.
I don't agree either, but that was where the planning commission landed on it. And again, there was enough back and forth that it was like, okay, letting that one go.
I don't
So
understand
if
that one.
the select board,
I don't know, and I guess I think I've been arguing against this one since the beginning because, like, as a person who has a home occupation, in order to store any and all equipment, it's an exorbitant expense.
Yeah.
And when we talk about, land use development regs and the character of this was one of the reasons that I didn't agree with primary structures having to be smaller than outbuildings. Like, barns are twice the size of primary structures. You drive down East Warren Road and you see more equipment than buildings.
Right.
Because they're outside and we put like temporary structures or tarps or we just trying to make a life work in this state. And if we just keep making everything more expensive in an already expensive environment, we're not helping anybody live here.
Agreed.
I'm fine with making that change. This has to go back to the PC and I just, yeah, I've been around it so many times.
What do you guys think?
Any edits we make,
concur
any
with
edits
you.
we make at this point,
I mean,
Yeah.
I looked at it from the point of view of what I do on my piece of property, and every single thing that I do is conditional. Is a conditional use. And
Yeah.
so, that feels, a little bit strange, you know? I'm like,
Yeah.
well, okay, I'm like, I guess I'm grandfathered into all this stuff, but like, that feels a little bit odd.
Yeah, it feels counterproductive to having people living and working on their properties. And that's where this board, at least in the last iteration, went around and around and around, and we struck out so many things that infringed on that ability. And this is just one of those
We
that is
did.
still sitting there. And
But we did strike a lot of them, Devin.
we did, yeah, we did.
We did.
So Camilla, just talk me through
Yeah.
logistically speaking, like if we, this board here, decided we wanted to take A9 out, we're allowed to do that?
Yep, yep. We have to, it goes to the PC for comment, and they can bring those comments to the public hearing, and others can as well, and in the end, what we're hoping is on February 17th, we have a public hearing where we don't feel we need to make any further changes.
Right.
I concur with you. I feel like that's undue burden on people, especially people in this economy who probably want to start a more local business because there aren't any others. You have to do things locally now.
This state survives on
Yeah.
small businesses, on people having businesses out of their homes. I'd love to see 9 struck.
At 3207, I just want to get to it so I know.
Kaylee,
I second.
what
Joel,
I'm asking.
I mean, I have other issues too. that I'd
do
like to
you
talk-
have a number of
I have
issues
another one that I
of?
want to, that I'm
Okay,
interested in
yeah,
talking about.
that's the extent of my issues. Whoa!
Hold on. Let me just,
Well, we didn't talk about swimming pools, but
Ooh,
Yeah.
Let's talk about swimming holes.
swimming pools.
No swimming pools.
do we really have to talk about swimming pools,
I
Devin?
don't know, we went around and around about it. I just don't understand why they're not allowed to be in the front yard.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
No.
In the village.
In
It
the
gets,
village.
it gets connected to other things. How about this? How about do you think it's going to really be a problem if we leave it in there right now?
No, that's why I didn't even
Okay.
start with swimming
Let's
pools.
take it up again. Okay. 3207A, hold on.
9. I am so hungry.
A9.
Same.
Just to be clear, a home occupation must not have any outdoor storage or use areas,
Just
including
have
product
this.
display or parking of
Thank you,
heavy
my friend.
vehicles, equipment outside an enclosed structure.
These only have like
Okay.
1 calorie.
It's okay. Bill makes you feel better.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay. Joel, I think that was all of Devin, and,
so-
yeah.
I think just sort of there. I pointed out a spelling error. I sent that to you.
Yeah.
I think structurally the document would be way easier to read if the glossary of terms at the bottom were added to each section as they go along. So you define what a primitive camp is at the point when primitive camp is brought into the document, as opposed to like having to leaf back and forth between the document. This as like a structural, like
That's how most zoning regs are.
They're
readability,
all
like
at the end, yeah.
readability, like it's.
Yeah.
I've never read a document like this before. It was awful.
Yeah,
For you,
they are.
defining terms. The other thing that I'm curious about is, at least when I read it, it feels like they aren't all in the glossary.
They're not.
Right? Like if I went to look for home occupation and home business in the glossary and they're not there. And I don't know how to solve that because so much of it is defined within the document.
He just made a suggestion of
How you could solve that. Each term brought up in each section could be defined in the section.
Just
then
says
you know where to look for it, and it's there.
it doesn't become a question because it
And
talks
then is
about
it
intention.
reiterated at the
Well,
end?
it's talking
Yeah.
about intention and purpose, but it should just have definition.
Yeah.
It just seems logical. For me, when I was reading, I was like, I don't know what any of this stuff is, and I
That happens
Googled
to me
it
too.
all, and then I got to the bottom of the document. I was like, oh, it's all right here, and then went back.
I think
to
part
the
of
beginning
the
of it.
challenge with that in particular, Joel, and I was noticing with this review, is that we were doing it on our computers. And our first review, we had the actual document,
Right.
which does make it easier to refer to the glossary.
Yep.
But I think what we're saying is like the glossary feels incomplete. and maybe a little inaccessible. Is there a way to improve that?
That's just from a legibility.
If people are going to be reading it online, you can include cross references so
Yeah.
that if you have a defined term,
So you-
it just cross references to the definition.
Can't you search it? It's a searchable document,
Yeah,
right?
you can. That's, I mean,
Oh.
but,
You have to click through like a million different places where it comes up. Whereas if you just have a cross reference to the definitions and you click it, it'll take you to the definition of it, and then you can go back.
and I understand, like, there are ideas where there could be links to external documents, and I understand you might not want to link to those because those links might go dead, but there are blue links within it that you want to click on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
That was just like a structural thing that I was thinking about. The one thing that I found interesting was the use of primitive camps in the document. And it felt like to me that you can't live in Warren, Vermont in a shack with a composting toilet in the middle of the woods.
No, you're not allowed.
You're not allowed to do that.
You're not allowed to do that.
And that feels wrong. That feels
Hey,
like
we went around about this.
that feels like a real
we
like,
did.
You're not allowed in this town.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to be poor here,
Yeah.
or you're not allowed to live the way that you want to live. And
Yeah.
I don't think I agree with that.
So, and where I think the pushback comes from, and I'm not sure that I agree with the pushback, but I'm going to give it to you. And Camilla, please, if I don't represent it correctly, was with respect to wastewater and
Yeah.
human waste.
I get it.
And where is that going, and how is that affecting neighbors and animals, and like there are just so many potential snowballs
I get it.
from that.
Sure.
Camping isn't allowed under current Warren zoning though, right? Like I'm pretty sure that's not.
Camping is, it's
It's
But like
defined
a
as,
primitive camp is not.
Right.
right, so it's
That's not a change.
permanent, how long you
Yeah.
use it for versus,
Right.
you know.
You're not allowed to live like a native.
It just struck
Yeah.
me as strange that like
I agree.
you can only do it for 150 days a year, which is like, and with restrictions, and that felt odd to me as like reading through the document and felt
Yeah.
restrictive in a way that rubbed me the wrong way. And I don't really know how to feel
Yeah.
about it, but I'm just putting it
Yeah.
out there as like,
Well,
you guys
and
wrote it, and I'm curious why.
So this sounds like something that we could take up as an amendment, because I think
Yeah.
what it would require is an understanding of what our rights are as a town that don't infringe upon state law, because they control wastewater. And basically the big thing there is there's no wastewater mitigation for someone living on this piece of property. And that's a state thing that we aren't allowed to supersede. So I wonder if there is a way to craft an allowance for that that recognizes like some acknowledged composting toilet system or something of that nature, right? But I don't think we can solve that problem between now and next
It's
week.
fine. I just wanted to bring it up because I read
Yeah.
it in the.
Are you keeping a
Hey,
list of
hey,
things?
hey, Joel, this
Yeah.
is Jim
Hey,
Kraft.
Jim.
So remember that 800 people could move into Alpine Village, you know, that's what you're saying that could happen, right? And that just is not tenable, right? I mean, everybody could move on to their 40 by 110 piece of property. That would be untenable.
That's the argument, right?
Well-
They could all live on that little
No.
tiny slice that they own.
Not necessarily, because there can still be size requirements.
But you
It just-
don't, I mean, that's not, my discussion was, why can't you live on, you know, in a primitive camp is because, I mean, we already had one of the worst land development issues ever in Vermont happen in Warren. And somehow we've got to kind of correct that situation.
Okay.
That would be,
I see your point of view. I understand that, like, yes, it could balloon theoretically into that situation, but
Yeah.
Why not?
not theoretically, it did. It did happen.
Can you tell
Right,
us what you're
people
talking
moved
about?
people moved bread trucks into Alpine Village and started living in them.
They did?
And that was untenable.
When did that happen?
When did that happen?
In the 60s and the 70s, you can find the bread trucks still, drive down Plunkton Road, look to the left, there's still 2 bread trucks there.
Huh. We
So,
love, baby.
But again, couldn't one, like any other structure, like when I buy a piece of land and I build a house on it, for example, I have to go through zoning and there's certain things that have to be approved. Why wouldn't you do the same process for a primitive structure on, like,
Well,
why wouldn't you go through the same process of saying, you can build a primitive structure, and primitive in this particular case means you have to give us how are you dealing with your wastewater, and how are you dealing with your septic, and how are you dealing, and that's a process that you have to,
But-
like anything else, apply for.
a zoning permit is predicated on a wastewater permit from the state. You can't get a zoning permit to live in a structure on your property without a wastewater permit. So that's
Unless
why.
you're a tiny
Right, but
house.
why wouldn't
No.
you do that
The
for
tiny
a
houses are
primitive?
smaller.
No, they have to have access to, like, that goes into the RVs and the camps. You have to have a hookup for electrical and septic and water in order for them to be there longer than 30 days or whatever it is that it says in the regs.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, is wouldn't that just become part of the requirement for a camper or a primitive, is that those things need to be met, just like the house?
They totally could, and that's why I say,
It would
maybe
be-
there's a way we could do
Right,
this.
right,
And we can't do it tonight.
Right, yes,
So
no, but-
let's look at,
right.
let's flag that as something
Right.
that we wanna talk about as a potential amendment to the
Right.
ordinance.
And again, it also could alleviate some of what we're calling affordable housing.
Right,
So another question I had about it was like the 2 towns abut each other, where our looters have one set of rules and another town has another set of rules.
Yeah.
Like, do our neighboring towns, like, are we aware of, what the conflicts are that could arise between those 2 documents?
The towns each have the opportunity to, as part of the process, to give comment when a town is going through the rewriting of their regs. So that's where you're supposed to,
so Waitsfield's supposed to be reading
Check
our
in.
regs and say, hey, you're gonna screw over all of these people, or this sounds great.
And the last thing I was thinking about was in the lighting part, it talks about external flashing lights, and I was thinking that excludes Christmas lights as part of
oh
it.
God, we had that conversation too.
As something that I saw, and then I was
I'm
thinking
not in
about,
compliance.
Do your lights flash?
Yes.
and then
Happily.
thinking about if these go into place sort of retroactively, what do we do as a town about our streetlights? Like, there are streetlights at the top of Roxbury Gap that you can see from Lincoln Peak across the whole valley, right?
Yeah.
Like, that obviously is
Well,
extending beyond its parameters that it's allowed to be in, and how do we deal with that as a town later? And sort of it's those light casts, and why are they on 24 hours a day, and things
I mean, that's a topic we could take up, but the regulations they don't go backwards.
I understand, but
They'll be
like, I mean,
pre-existing, okay.
I understand, but it would
From an operational perspective,
be
is that
kind
something
of
we
cool
want?
to, like, maybe think about our own lighting distribution in the town, because you can see it from all over the place, and we have these random streetlights in very strange places that don't really make much sense. And
Wait, you talking about the one on Roxbury?
The one on, yes, and the one on Airport Road.
That's
Yeah.
for that's for the cameras,
The
so the
cameras,
road highway crew can.
Right, but the
See,
if you want,
uh,
if you're looking at the camera, you could turn on the light, and then you can turn off the light and not look at the camera.
But they're Green Mountain Power. Like
Right.
most.
Right, but to his point, if you're gonna build an ordinance that says lights like this
Oh,
aren't
right,
allowed,
right.
maybe we should look
Regulation.
at how to do it differently. I
Yeah,
agree.
absolutely.
Especially because,
So-
you know, dark sky compliant is a good thing, and
And
something that
having
we're
a
learning
super
about.
bright light on the top of the mountain is like, it's
A little
strange.
weird. It's a little
And, you know, it's fine to look at the groomers moving around the, you know, but that's kind of what it looks like.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I guess you guys, I would ask, but, you know, I hate the way this is all shaking out, but to have to sort of push us along, but I guess I would ask for tonight, anything that we feel we could not pass this version, that needs to be changed, or we could not pass this version. That's what we need to know.
Okay, none of my critique is dire,
Other than the spelling or the.
other than the spelling errors.
Spelling,
And,
right?
and glossary terms. I think that's important.
But
I-
Devin, I'll
What?
tell you, if we have to rewrite that, reformat this document, we gotta pony up some more money, and it's
Yeah.
gonna take Sharon a lot more time. It's not gonna happen in time.
But could we add some more definitions without totally ruining the structure of the document?
Do you have a list of those definitions?
I do not.
Like I said, from a readability, from like reading it straight through, it just wasn't helpful.
Yeah,
I
I agree.
didn't know, and
How about page numbers? Can we have page numbers?
they're paying page numbers at the bottom.
They're 4-20, there's sections and then page.
Their section, because I thought that had to do with, because however you're printing it, or
Might change where
Yeah.
it falls.
might change it, because I
Okay,
think we had that in the last document, it got screwy.
okay. The only one that really, really bothered me was 3207A, and you took it out. We took it
Yeah.
out, so
A9.
yeah, 9. I'm good. I'll have issues always.
Harvey's not here to vote, but his other comments,
There was just the one thing that he said it wasn't okay, and wasn't that about emergency shelters?
Yes.
was it just the one?
I
know
think
he had
that
a
was
lot
the
of
one that
questions.
he said in meeting, I can't get behind
right.
this.
That's right.
And if that's dictated by statute, there isn't anything we can do about it.
I think he just wanted to make sure there was a pathway for us to address homeless shelters somewhere in the valley or somewhere in Warren. Especially
He wanted to be
as-
able to put conditions on them, right?
Especially as some of these towns and cities have a lot of homeless problems and they're trying to put people in different places.
Yeah, he's saying like the state could say, hey, you have to have this. So why is an emergency shelter a permitted use in resort and residential areas?
That was answered.
What was the other one? No, yeah, I think that's it. Oh, hotel rooms to provide housing include the rental of hotel rooms to provide housing assistance through the state's general assistance program or to any person whose room is rented with public funds. Hotel
Also
in this
statute.
context has the same meaning as in, why would we exempt this? That was the thing he said was inconsistent throughout the document.
Inconsistent?
Yeah. I don't know what he meant by
I
that.
don't either.
I replied and
Hotel rooms are also,
yeah, that's where he's
part of the
confused.
statute.
He says, and a permitted use means a landowner can do any of these
Right.
activities without a permit. That's, I think, what's
Right.
confusing him. That's not true.
yeah.
Everybody needs
Yeah.
a permit to do the things.
It's just that they could go to Ruth just for the permit and not, or zoning administrator, and not have to have conditional, not go to the DRB
Right.
if it's permitted.
I think my only section of the ordinance that I found confusing was as it relates to short-term rentals. Because I felt like there were some things in
Yeah.
conflict with our ordinance, and I
Kaylee.
just think it's gonna add so much confusion for people. Just,
I think we'd have to dig, you'll have to dig into that a little bit more, or somebody will, for us to
Yeah.
decide what edits we would
it's
want to
mostly
make
the
to that.
occupancy requirements and things like that are all, the things that we got rid of in the STR are now in the looters,
Yeah.
which is confusing.
Okay, we should look at that. I will try and take a look at that tomorrow.
Put my blinders and they have more holes. Jeez.
I mean, again, it seems like there's an opportunity in a document that's listed online where you could just link to the STR ordinance instead of and having just one document that dictates the whole thing instead of the two things in conflict. You could just have the ordinance that we have instead of.
So part of the problem we have is the timing of all of this. We started working on this long before we started working on the STR ordinance.
Yeah.
So
Maybe we could ask.
Thought we were done with it.
Yeah. I wonder if we could ask Carrie to look through the STR section in the looters to find discrepancies with the ordinance. Is that
I'll take a look at it.
okay? Otherwise, I feel good about it. I am mostly feel good about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect document, and it could use amendments, review and amendments. I think that at this point, it has not ended up as a perfect document, and it's from where we started to where we are now, it's a completely different, it was a very complicated, very complex project. And I would encourage us to pass it so that we can use it, so we can understand where it still needs to be changed. And obviously, it's a living document. It will always need changes, but we have to start using it in order to really understand it better.
So do we have to pass it right now?
No.
No.
We just don't want to
no,
make
that'll
any
be for the
amendments.
hearing.
Do we need
What I
to?
will do is, yeah,
Do we need
make
to
the-
warn the hearing now, or is that next week?
It's next week.
no,
Okay, so we're good.
no, I need to make the edits. I need to get the edits made so that
Okay.
we have the document
Great.
for the public hearing and for the PC to review.
Okay. We didn't do this.
Wastewater?
Yeah.
I mean,
We can do it with capital?
yeah.
Okay. Are we good on looters, Camilla?
I am, if you guys are.
I'm okay. Also, I do want to say there are a lot of positive changes in this document that do make for more density, affordability, infill development. There is a lot of potential for positive growth.
I will work with Ruth on the warning, and then
Yeah.
I will upload it to the Google Drive so that you all can see it before it goes to the Valley Reporter, to make sure that we do it correctly.
The warning, but we're talking about that next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just want to add that to that before I forget.
Okay. I wonder if the only thing, so we added
Artwork and
artwork
dedication.
and dedication and the report. I'm gonna maybe push the report. Please look at it, make comments and edits, and I'll do that outside of meeting time. Camilla, I think you already did that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
I was considering, I had fielded the idea of dedicating the report this year to Michael Bridgewater and Gary Eckhart jointly. What do you guys think about that?
That's great.
Joel?
I don't know either of those people.
You don't. Gary Eckhart is the watercolor artist that provided the artwork for the cover for the last 2 years, and
Okay.
has been was a very, very nationally or internationally renowned watercolor artist. He's run hundreds of workshops.
Okay.
And Michael Bridgewater was a member of the Planning Commission for how many years, Camilla?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
Should we add Margot to that?
Well, we dedicated it to Margot last year.
Oh, we did, okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember. No, I think that's a good idea.
And then
I don't have any other.
okay, as far as asking people sort of to give us some information about them, do we have ideas? Like who would like to write something up about tunes? Maybe the planning commission, I mean, I don't know. Usually we craft a dedication and someone has to participate in that. So,
I can talk to Julie about maybe talking to Rourke and Andy about Gary's,
yeah, That would
cause
be
she's very
lovely.
good friends with them.
that would be great.
And
Maybe
I
we
can
start,
give Helen a call tomorrow.
yeah,
I don't know how, we wanted to sort of keep this.
or maybe we ask Jim Sanford, who's served on the board with him for a really long time.
Yeah, I mean, they're not usually long,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's just sort of a
Acknowledge
Brief.
their
Yeah.
contributions.
contributions, yeah.
So let's spitball that.
Okay.
Outside the meeting.
Okay.
Artwork for the cover. Thoughts on what should be on the cover of the 2025 town report?
I mean, if you're dedicating it to him, isn't there, wouldn't
Well,
be-
the last 2 years we used his artwork, and we don't have any more, and we can't ask permission.
okay.
Well, and I
There's
think
some others.
he had given us his 2 pieces from Warren,
Uh-huh. Okay.
that were specific and well-known.
Artwork, cover. Artwork, picture,
Anything sesquicentennial,
We could ask Kaylee and Randy if
Related.
they have anything.
4th of July,
They're
Parade,
resident
I don't know.
artists.
historian? Yes,
Jim, do you have any
Historical
thoughts
Society.
from that perspective?
Yeah, I put Taylor's drawing of the pavilion from the wall in your barn. what
Oh,
I
the
put.
one on the chalkboard?
Yep, but that's me. That's what I do.
I don't know if he'd give us permission to put his drafting on the cover. It's super secret, Jim. I can
Well,
ask
we
him.
could blur out.
Out a photo of the building.
I like that too, but I'm enamored with the design behind it, so I kind of like the thinking process. So that's why I'm thinking the nitty-gritty details versus the beautiful picture of the end result.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to make it like a contest every year.
I know at this point though, we haven't.
I know, not this year.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah, well, we potentially had some artwork from the art guild that happened, Thanksgiving time, I think is when they're over there, but that sort of fell through the cracks. So,
How much time do we have before you need it?
I got an extension through Friday the 30th at 9 a.m. So,
Can we think a little bit on that one?
Yeah.
There's some great pictures that Dorothy came up with that got printed and put in the community market.
Oh yeah.
They're really beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
They
They
were
are
like,
really nice.
if one of those, if they've been digitized, we could probably take one of those images and scale it down
Yeah.
and put it on the front. They're
that's
awesome.
sort of what we did with Gary's.
They're great
stuff.
images.
What are they?
They're all those images that got framed and put in the stairwell
Yeah.
at the market.
Yeah.
They're just nice images that like were recently put out there, and like you could say all of them are in the market, and you could take a look at them, but you could showcase one of them and put them on the thing on the cover. 'Cause we have the image.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah, they were taken by May Blair too, so there's a really nice tie-in.
Okay, how do we want to move forward with this piece? Do we want to?
We can make a final decision next week meeting.
So do we wanna bring in some examples of what we're thinking? Or so people can look
Let's
at
send some
what,
stuff to Rebecca and have her
Yeah,
collate it.
if you guys, give me some examples, I can, do some mock-ups of what it might look like on the front and have them ready for you guys on Tuesday.
or even just
I can
like
even
a
email
printout
'em.
of the pictures.
Yeah, and I can email them and we can make a decision at the meeting. So you guys can sort of ponder them.
Cool. Good?
Good. Signatures?
Signatures. Payroll.
Move to approve payroll in the amount of $43,298.04.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Both payroll.
This
Those are
is
for you, so.
no accounts payable?
Nope.
Is this all we're doing?
Yeah, do you
I'd
wanna
like to
go?
go.
You could go.
Yeah.
Thank you for suffering through.
Let's say executive session.
It does say.
It does?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, but okay.
We were gonna talk about personnel. But I don't know if we want to, it's
I don't
9:30.
think we can. I think we're gonna have to push it. I don't even know what we were talking about. So, but you probably do.
Mhm.
Do you want us to talk about it?
We don't need to.
Are you sure? Okay. We're not gonna do executive session, Camilla. You may go. Oh, hey.
I think she ended the meeting for everybody.
Oh.
She did.
Okay, minutes of December 22nd and December 29th.
Move to approve.
All those in favor?
Recording in progress.
There we go.
Aye.
Aye.
On the back.
All right, and then these are me. Is that
And
it?
then I just need you to sign this certificate of mileage.
Is everybody else done? Or are we all doing this? Oh, this is us.
Yep.
Okay, mileage 20.22. Wait,
This is just, it's
we
giving,
haven't done any.
yeah, telling the state that we didn't discontinue any roads this year. We didn't create any new roads, inherit new roads, any of that stuff.
Okay.
Did we drop all of the road discussions
We
at
said,
some point?
said it was not a priority for
We
us.
just
Okay.
couldn't handle it. It's too much.
Great.
We decommissioning roads.
We've made,
Yeah, it was a lot.
we've made
A lot
some
of site
people very
visits.
unhappy about it, but, oh, sorry, I don't know why I'm giving them to you. I
I
could
don't
just
either,
leave
but
them
it's
in
all good.
here. All right, are we good?
Yeah.
This is, all right, move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.